This episode of the Giant Bombcast is brought to you by Squarespace. Whether you need a landing page, a beautiful gallery, a professional blog, or online store, it's all included with your Squarespace website. Start your free trial today at squarespace.com and enter the offer code BOMBCAST to get 10% off your first purchase.
It's Tuesday. It's October the 4th. It's 2016.
All of these things are accurate.
It's the Giant Bombcast.
I'm a notary.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Can you put a stamp on that?
I can stamp the heck out of whatever you got.
Is there like a wax seal that goes on that?
No. I mean,
you like fold the envelope up and like stamp your
if
royal
if
insignia?
you want to like pay extra, I can like get a wax sealer thing and do that. It's not
put
really
a
part
ribbon
of
on it too. That like really seals the deal.
Yeah.
What does a notary do
intended.
besides stamp things?
They
I've had
are-
to have it
I don't know
happen
that
like
they
twice in my
stamp-
life. No, they like authenticate
sure.
something or whatever. You have to take it in and they say, hey, this is a real deal thing.
That's what they do. They say, hey, this is a real deal thing, and their stamp indicates that.
But that's never like their job, right? Like
That
you can
is-
go to a bank and then somebody does
sounds
normal
like
bank
a
job.
stuff.
Yeah,
And
no,
they're like,
there's-
oh, also I can stamp
There's not
this.
enough, like, you would have to be in some big city and be the only notary around to have being a notary be your full-time job.
So it's a side
Okay.
gig. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a weird side gig where, like
Like a Lyft driver.
there are people in this building that are notary publics.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, if you find them and get them to perform their service,
Wait,
they
here
want
in the building?
almost definitely.
Really?
Yeah, almost definitely.
Back in the day, email would go out on CNET spam. Is anybody a notary?
Is anybody here a notary? Like constantly, like
Wow.
once a week, someone would be looking for a fucking notary, and there'd always be someone going, "Yes, it is. I am a notary. My fee is $35 for my stamp."
Oh, wait. They charge a fee?
Definitely, because
Okay, I was
they're
going
just-
to ask,
expensive.
what
they're
is
not
in it
they're not a notary
them?
for the company.
Yeah.
They are just they are legally they
right.
have filled out the paperwork or whatever the fuck to be an official
And
witness.
those stamps are super expensive too. It's like a taxi driver. You got to buy your car.
Oh, really?
You got to buy your stamp.
Are you like paying dues or something?
I don't fucking know.
Just to be a
Like being
notary?
like an ordained minister? Is it like that?
sort of.
Well, that's
for-
just fun.
for
That
the
you
law?
can just do on the internet.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
Let's all become notaries.
Yeah.
It seems like it'd be fun.
Good side business.
Yeah. But then we'll be competing notaries and we'll be undercutting
I'm
each
gonna,
other.
I'm
man.
gonna undercut the hell out
That
of
sounds
you
pretty
guys.
fun.
I'll do an $8 stamp. I don't give a fuck.
I'll do 5.
$2 hot dog, $1 notary.
Free stamps today.
I'll do it for lunch.
I'll do it for beef jerky.
Suggesting we let the market decide.
Free market economy.
Who is
will-
the best notary?
Yeah, who's
in
the
this
best
room?
notary?
I'll even take a Slim Jim.
I had to get fingerprinted yesterday
Whoa.
because I'm applying for a badge for the Oakland airport.
Oh wow.
And they don't do ink stuff anymore. It's like this, like a little scanner that you just put there's like 4 lights and you put your finger on the scanner and it'll tell you which finger is not aligned
Oh, wow.
correctly.
It'll burn off your fingerprints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With lasers.
Now you can unlock
done.
any iPhone at the Oakland airport.
Yep.
No.
That's how
Nice.
that works.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then you do both thumbs
No
at the
mess.
same time.
Mm.
Boom.
Thumbs
You have to
up.
give the thumbs up
Thumbs
first?
up for
Kinda.
security.
Yeah.
Ha.
So are they just in the database now?
Yep.
Like you
I'm
better-
in a lot of databases now.
You better not be at the scene of a crime then.
But they're
You
all
better not leave any prints.
They're all FAA databases,
Hmm.
so they're all like their websites are really slow, and you have to write 3 forms
yeah.
to find me in a database. Yeah.
Be tough to find.
Yes.
So you could basically what you're telling me is that you could murder someone and then put your hand in their blood and then put that hand on a wall and then
be
no one
fine.
would. The people look at it and go like,
I'm not going to fill out the paperwork for that.
"It's just not
Yeah.
worth
The
it."
database is so slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to wait 6 to 8 weeks to get those results back.
Lexus Nexus over here.
He'll be out of the country by then. On your own plane, you can just jump on a plane and
That's right.
fly away.
Yeah.
Yes. I'd have to refuel these.
How far do you think you could actually get on a plane that you will be able to fly?
I think a Cessna can fly for like 4 hours.
Okay. You could.
I think.
Is it-
Well, I don't know how fast they're going. I wonder if
Yes.
could you make it to Canada on one of those?
I don't think
I'd say like
so.
a prop plane
No.
flight to Seattle is like 2 hours.
Right.
Okay.
That might be faster than
can
what
do
he's
it.
talking about.
So 4
Yeah,
hours in a
definitely.
Cessna is totally different than 4 hours in like a 747.
Yeah.
Okay. Like,
Yeah.
I assume the
Different
747
fuel
is much
requirements.
faster. Right?
There's no
Yeah.
beverage service on the Cessna for
Really?
one. Yeah.
You have to pay for it?
You can BYO.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And if the pilot is a notary public, you can also pay to get like something stamped and witnessed
Okay.
while you're in the air.
While flying.
Credit
which is-
report or something.
Yeah, totally.
Cool.
So after the Cessna helicopter, what do you have to do for that?
Oh boy.
Is that completely different? It's not like a hop, skip, and a jump?
Wait, are you
Like
also
different
thinking
tests
about?
that you take?
No.
Okay.
No, man.
I'm just
Helicopters. That's a whole
Yeah.
different ball game.
Ugh.
I mean, I think the next thing for me would be so the first next thing is like instrument rating, so I can fly in clouds and stuff because I won't be able to do that.
Okay.
And then I think you get like multi-engine and like complex aircraft, which means you have landing gear and stuff.
Like that folds
Wait,
up.
how do you
Yeah.
land now?
It's just down all the time.
Oh, so okay, there are wheels.
Yeah, it's not retracted.
okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Landing gear specifically means up and down.
Oh,
I think it's landing gear regardless. It's just
retractable landing
whether-
gear
yeah,
is what I'm
whether
talking
it's-
about.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Last question.
What's up?
Have you been in an airplane today?
Yes,
Okay.
I flew today.
Great. You flew?
I flew today.
You got off the ground?
That's
so Yes.
cool.
How long does that flight last?
An hour.
Wow. That's a lot of
Yeah.
time. Is it just you and one instructor?
Yes.
Man.
We were practicing emergency stuff today.
Whoa.
We were
Wow.
flying, and then he was like, "Oh, your engine's gone." And just like pulled my throttle
no,
out.
it's not. Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
He just
Oh.
turns the key.
Yep. What do you do?
Did he actually turn it
Died.
off?
No, he didn't turn it off.
Okay.
He just pulled the throttle out, so I lost all my power.
Time to
Oh, okay.
channel Captain Sully.
Yes, exactly.
Glide your way to safety.
Danville's own.
Yeah,
Captain
right.
Sully.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah.
Isn't Carl Weathers from there too?
Maybe.
I think he is.
Seems like something he'd do.
Okay.
Be from Danville.
Yeah.
Dan, while Drew's been practicing his flight routines,
Yeah.
have you been practicing your death blossom?
My death blossom.
Yeah, we've been talking about Last Starfighter.
You are the last
off-
starfighter.
Oh, that
Fair.
was the last.
We determined.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's been like 25 years since I've seen that, so I don't remember much of it.
I think it holds up. I've watched it pretty recently, like
same
within
here.
a year or so. Like bought the Blu-ray.
Why do I associate that with Howard the Duck? Was it around the same time?
Sure.
Maybe I watched
kinda,
them back to
sorta,
back or
not
something?
necessarily.
Maybe a
the
few years
same.
before.
Was
Yeah.
Lucas involved at all in Starfighter?
No, I don't think so.
I don't.
Did he-
I don't believe so.
Did he direct Howard the Duck?
I think yes.
Okay.
I think that was his last directorial efforts until the prequels.
Are there like
Went
old
out-
hilarious
went out with a
interviews?
quack.
if I'm not mistaken?
Are there like old hilarious interviews with Lucas where he's talking up Howard the Duck
Oh, I'm
about how it's
sure.
going to be this like real awesome thing?
Probably.
Or was it always kind of a silly dumb thing?
So that one, like, I don't know if it holds up.
George Lucas does not strike me as someone who is very self-aware about his art.
I never
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
I don't know that I've seen all of Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
But I saw parts of it when it was new, and then I've seen parts of it since. It seems terrible then.
Sure.
And even worse now.
He's in Guardians of the Galaxy, right? He's in that.
I think he has a cameo.
like
in
as
that.
an Easter egg or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I think there's just a bunch of aliens in a room or whatever, and Donald Duck, whatever the duck we're talking about, is just they're quacking with a bunch of aliens or something.
Just they're
It-
quacking.
it's like the E.T. and Phantom Menace thing.
Okay.
What the fuck is that movie about?
It's a duck.
I've heard of it for as
Or
long as it's
E.T..
existed.
I think
Okay,
he's an
Howard the
alien.
alien comes to
Howard
Earth,
the Duck.
and then the boy builds a speaking spell,
Okay.
and then the alien takes the speaking spell and he turns it into a communication device.
You should back up because there's some Reese's Pieces.
Yeah, they eat a bunch of candy.
Yeah.
The feds don't like it.
Mm-mm.
Uh,
see.
Plastic tubes.
They point their walkie-talkies at him.
yeah, they
and-
point the walkie-talkies at the Reese's Pieces, and then they build a flying bike, and then they fly away.
Got it.
Somebody gets cut and they go.
Howard the Duck sounds pretty good.
"Ouch."
Yeah.
I should see that.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Ouch.
Maybe I won't actually watch Howard the Duck. I'm still curious what it's about, though.
Is there a Blu-ray version of Howard the Duck?
A family
Oh,
member
I
of
don't
mine
know.
is in that movie as an
Really?
extra or
Wow.
something.
Okay, not the duck.
Just because they filmed it
Just
around
an Easter
here.
egg.
Sure, yeah.
As I think I saw that part.
Huh.
I don't know.
I'd watch it again.
I kind of want to keep it just nebulous. Like, I don't know if it
No,
was good.
I have
You're done with Howard the
I have
Duck?
No,
zero
not that.
interest
It's just
in-
like, maybe it was good, maybe it wasn't, but I kind of have like fond, weird memories of it.
What if
I
there was a
kinda wanna
gritty
keep it at
reboot, like a Tomb Raider reboot, like a gritty,
like
realistic
Tomb Raider
Howard the
reboot,
Duck?
like the Tomb Raider movie, that type of gritty.
No, not the movie.
Like
the
Howard
game.
the Duck runs up a pyramid and then jumps and flies and then catches some kind of thing, and
Some kind
Okay,
of
when you
swan
say it
dive
that
with
way,
two
yeah.
pistols.
Yeah, okay, that sounds all right.
okay,
I'm in.
That sounds pretty good.
or like Howard the Duck shooting a dinosaur.
Either sounds all right
King
to me.
dinosaur.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait,
Devil Dinosaur.
isn't Howard the Duck kind of a dinosaur himself?
No, he's an alien duck. I think he comes from a planet
Are you
of duck
saying the
aliens.
duck is dinosaurs?
Ducks are
'cause
birds.
Ducks are birds,
Yes.
and birds. Are
Oh, right.
Yes.
I'm still going to say no.
Okay, that's fine. Howard the Duck, much like Watergate, is one of those things that I only knew about from Mad Magazine.
Sure.
Yeah,
As
yeah,
we
yeah.
have talked about recently.
Uh huh.
I was
a lot
only
of fun.
aware of it because of the jokes that they made about it in Mad,
Mm-hmm.
and that remains true to this day.
You're better off.
Yeah, probably. What's up?
Nothing much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Just chilling.
Just video games coming out.
Yeah.
Playing some video
Yeah,
games.
that happened, huh? As foretold in prophecy, Madden was released, and then
Exactly.
and then video games
And
started
video
happening.
games were to follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is happening? What has been?
Oh well. Seems
Seems like there's a lot
Yeah, I guess they're
about to come out.
I guess there kind of is. But I have been playing Hack Mud.
Oh, I didn't expect you to lead with that, but all right.
And
I want to know how that's going.
I love that thing.
Yeah?
It's awesome. But I also think I'm going to get out of the bit where it is kind of holding your hand and showing you what's what.
Okay.
And will not be able to play it anymore because it'll be too deep.
Yeah,
it's a text-based hacking game, but not like Hacknet where it's like all Hollywood hacking and all single player and all this other stuff.
Like all of Hacknet is holding your hand, right?
Right,
And just letting you act like a cool cyber
where
hacker.
this is kind of showing you the ins and outs of the basics for the first few hours, and then my understanding is that it dumps you out onto the internet and you can join corporations with other players, and you can write scripts to try to steal money from other players, and all. And it's this very vicious kind of thing.
Kind of like an EVE Online like situation.
People
where
are
you're
making
just
that
kind of out in
comparison.
the world.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And things can go bad for you, and you can end up broke. And there are some scripts that cost money to run.
Yeah, like just some of the dynamically insidious stuff that you've talked about, like people writing scripts that are like one typo away from like built-in scripts, so that people will accidentally run them and like dump their entire account.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah, just stuff like that.
That stuff sounds amazing.
And there are tools in place to let you kind of look at that stuff before you run it and make sure it's okay, as I understand it. But some people are still going to make mistakes. But yeah, I don't know. I'm enjoying the tutorial in it, but I still fear that, and I'm getting closer. I feel it getting very close to like the end of the parts I like about Hack Mud.
Has it taught you anything about how you would write your own script, like even just real basic stuff, or is it just like
I went and looked at a GitHub repo that had some scripts in it.
Oh wow!
And looked
ridiculous.
at that, and that made some sense. But it's like variables. It's like stuff that like I have not done any modern programming.
Right.
I could write a program. I could write the fuck out of a program in the early 80s as a very patient child.
What are we talking? Fortran?
Yeah, you could do a for loop in BASIC.
No,
pretty
basic.
easily, right?
Basic
okay.
and logo. I can make the turtle draw a square. I could even make the turtle look like a race car if I type in the program from the magazine.
Wow.
And
don't make any typos.
No. And I knew different flavors of it. Atari Basic was slightly different from Apple's and that sort of stuff. And the Commodore stuff's a little different as well. But yeah, none of that stuck. I have not programmed much of anything since I roughly learned how to use frames when making HTML pages.
Yes. Oh, okay.
That was about the time I stopped. And so yeah, like this stuff, like I look at it and it's somewhat familiar. I can look at it and go like, that probably does that. That probably does that. And if I stare at it long enough, maybe I could puzzle it out. But I don't know the first thing about how to, like, I couldn't start from scratch on much.
Luckily, you don't need to. Like, it's so easy now, right?
Yeah,
just get Game Maker.
Exactly.
And make your own like hacking programs.
I'll make my own Hack Mud, and then it'll be fine.
There you go.
I mean, would it be easy to get that stuff out of GitHub into the game, or is that stuff somewhat automated, or are you having to like copy and paste,
download it,
stuff,
dump it into a directory, and then upload it into the game, and then they're your scripts.
Yeah.
They're just not that useful of scripts, like
because anybody that writes anything truly useful is going to keep it for themselves.
Exactly.
Right?
The best softs have to be kept fucking secret, man.
And that is so cyber.
Yeah. So yeah, that thing's. It's amazing and great that thing exists, and I would like to stick with it and maybe see if I can learn a thing or two.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have not gotten to the deep part of that game yet. Let's see. I played some Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered.
Oh boy! I saw
back.
a guy at GameSpot was playing that when I was walking down here.
Yeah, played a bit of that yesterday. Played the first couple levels. So the campaign is out today for people that bought the game.
So that
really?
It's not just Modern Warfare Remastered. That's also Infinite Warfare, right?
So I mean, yes, that's you can only get it. They're not selling Modern Warfare Remastered separately.
At
this time.
Yeah.
But yes, 30 days early, you can play through the Modern Warfare Remastered campaign.
Oh, I thought the Infinite Warfare campaign was also coming out. Oh, it's just okay.
No, this is just the Call of Duty 4 campaign.
Call of Duty 4.
No multiplayer.
Okay.
So I played the first few levels of that.
Okay.
It's a nice looking Captain Price.
Okay.
It's the nicest Captain Price has ever looked.
Good hair tech.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it look like a game that was made today, or does it look like a game that was made 10 years ago? Nine years ago, and then like gussied up a little bit.
It looks like a game that was made today with animation of a game that was not made today, and some pacing and structural stuff that would not pass muster today.
So
because it's slightly simple.
Showing its age in a few ways.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the pacing, I haven't played through that campaign in years. Is it slow paced at times? Because when I think back at that campaign, I think of it as just nonstop, just shooting.
I wouldn't say that because there's like all gillied up and some.
They've got missions where it's very much not.
It was very kind of up and down.
Specifically, I am watching the animations of these 3 guys stack up on this door before I can run in here and shoot.
Okay,
and it's not adapting to what I'm doing the way. Like some more modern Call of Duty campaigns have been a little bit better about like not forcing you through that stuff.
Okay,
so
just very obvious scripting.
Yeah, and
obvious robots running around doing
the
stuff.
graphics look nice, but they're not like 2016 nice.
Okay.
They're like, hey, here's a game that they started with this and did what they could, and it looks really nice for what they did.
Right.
But like on its own, you would probably look at it and go like, this doesn't necessarily feel like a world-class campaign in this day and age.
Okay.
It feels like a few steps back.
But
a little sad to hear.
It feels more than like an up-res, right? Like they totally redid textures and everything, right?
Yeah.
There's some footage out. They put trailers out.
Okay.
Showing nice
like
lighting effects and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like
cool.
it looks very nice.
Okay.
It made me, especially like that first mission where you're on the cargo ship, it just made me want to play the multiplayer. Like I realized like I don't know that I care about the campaign as much as maybe I thought I did. And I just want to play that map on the cargo ship, nice small map, and just murder people.
And
that's it.
Not going to go for that Mile High Club.
It does have trophies, so you could theoretically go there if you wanted to.
I thought I was done.
But
just as I spent way too much time this weekend chasing that stupid
I
Geometry Wars achievement.
I can't finish the obstacle course in under 19 seconds.
Yeah.
So like
I think I did that.
Yeah.
I have to check.
I never optimized a run for that.
No.
So I'm sure if I spent enough time on it, you could do anything.
Sure.
But it took me 36 seconds my first time through, and I was like, good enough. I don't care. Yeah, let's play. Let's get on.
Move on.
But it's that game I think is in the conversation for one of the most like pivotal and important games in gaming. So,
I mean, like even if you didn't respect it yourself, just like the effect it had on like the state of multiplayer games and shooters and et cetera, like it's inarguable that the thing was like one of the most influential games ever.
Absolutely. I think it's interesting to go back to it. But I really want to go back to the multiplayer. That's the thing I want to do more of. The campaign. It's neat that it's there. It's really cool. You're like, oh man, I remember playing through this like 1.5 times when I was reviewing it in 2007
and so having this gives you access to all of the Call of Duty 4 multiplayer, right? Is that correct?
It's not every single map. My understanding is it's not every single map that they made for Call of Duty 4. It is they've said it's 12 maps total, and so it's a smattering of the maps that shipped with it and some of the DLC maps, but I don't think it's everything.
But that's a totally different bucket from the Infinite Warfare multiplayer?
Yes. That's
they're
separate
totally
launch.
Separate things.
So
it's not just like they put maps in Infinite Warfare and it's like, here's a hopper for Call of Duty 4.
Right. There's a multiplayer option that is locked on this, and then also an option for Infinite Warfare that will then kind of probably launch you back into that game.
Yeah.
So the thing they did this week is they not so subtly, upgraded the text about Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare Remastered to say that you would need to have the disc in the drive to play Modern Warfare Remastered.
Saw some people not seeming super happy
or
about
have
that.
a digital copy of the game.
Yeah. So you can't. Huh. Okay.
So you can't buy Infinite Warfare and sell the disc back.
Oh, gotcha.
Which is what people, like some people were planning on doing.
Just to get the remaster?
Just to get the remaster.
There's no other way to get the remaster, right? Currently they're not going to sell it.
Look, I mean, they're going to wait 90 days and sell it separately. Or, they're going to sell as many of these copies of bundles of the two games as they can to get people excited about Call of Duty, because people are fucking not excited about Call of Duty right now.
About the new one, you mean?
Yeah. So they are going to fucking rope as many people in at that price point as they can.
Is that a thing? Like, is Infinite Warfare like trending downward?
Yes.
Like, how so? Like in terms of pre-sales?
I don't know.
Are
for
there
sure,
numbers
but,
out there?
There are no numbers out there.
Okay.
But
is this just taking the temperature?
General sentiments, taking the temperature of things. Let's say.
How about Black Ops 3? How did that go over with that community?
I think it was down from. Even the previous year, but probably better received than Advanced Warfare. I don't actually. I haven't seen the NPDs, but yes, it was like Black Ops 3 is generally recognized as a better game than Advanced Warfare.
Wow,
which makes me crazy.
I liked Advanced Warfare way more.
Totally.
Yeah,
that game's great. That was the last one I played.
That is the best current. That is still the Call of Duty I would go back and play right now if you wanted to play some Call of Duty.
I didn't like the hero stuff in Black Ops 3.
I thought it was lame.
Yeah.
I thought the player movement was more interesting and fun in Advanced Warfare. The side dodge I thought was really cool. The kind of wall run stuff, like it's just Black Ops 3 felt like halfway Titanfall.
Yeah.
And not in a good way.
I liked I remember the exosuit stuff in Advanced Warfare being like somewhat restrained.
Yeah.
Weirdly. Like they didn't turn you into a Superman.
Yeah, it was just like, I'm going to go,
yeah.
You know, like you had this weird, and it was like this chunky,
right,
like very directional movement that you had that just, it made it feel different.
Right.
Whereas like, you know, I get the idea of like, hey, we want to have like flow in our movement and be able to slide under stuff and wall run and, you know, this very kind of put it all together and shoot a guy. When you get all that stuff going, it feels cool, but it feels better in Titanfall. So like, Black Ops 3 for me, that was the least I think I've ever played a Call of Duty game post-release.
Yep, me too.
Ever. But yeah, I think there were definitely some people that wanted that. But you also see some people that just want to get away from any of that extra movement stuff and get back to kind of classic Call of Duty. So that's what Modern Warfare Remastered does.
That's what I'm wondering
Or
with the
will
multiplayer of Modern Warfare is. I wonder if it's going to feel really pared down,
Right.
but in a good way. You know,
Right.
it's still got the leveling
Yeah.
up and the prestiging and,
Yeah,
and the customization, but just like, hey, 3 perks. You know,
Martyrdom.
Yeah, God. You could put. I'm trying to remember how much weapon customization, if any, was there. I know you'd unlock the weapons on like a set schedule. Like, oh, you hit level 27. Here's a sniper rifle.
I think this was before they had like the weapons leveling up.
But you
So
could do
to
like red
unlock-
dot sights and stuff.
Yeah,
like
so
holographic
I think you would
sights.
unlock that stuff.
Yeah.
God, I don't remember how you actually unlock that stuff, if it's from using the weapons or completing challenges or what the deal is. It might be like get 10 kills. Like maybe they don't expose it as your weapon level 9. But maybe it is like if you get 100 kills with this gun, you get this.
I feel like it was
that's
challenge
what it is.
based.
I
Yeah,
think
there was a
that's what it
challenge
is.
sub-menu and everything.
Right.
And I feel like leveling up was
that was stuff
guns
like-
and perks, and then maybe the challenges were
Right.
the holographic sights and
Yeah,
stuff like
use
that.
this gun to unlock more stuff for this gun.
Yeah,
I think that's what it was.
I am super curious to see how those player bases shake out.
Yeah.
Right.
Like if everybody that buys that game is going to have that remaster.
Right, because
Like-
you know,
like-
I haven't seen much of the Infinite Warfare multiplayer.
Yeah, I guess all they've really shown is that space battle stuff for the most part, right?
Well,
Not-
so
obviously
they
that's the-
showed it. They had their own event, but it was happening at the same time as PAX. So no one paid attention to it. I don't know what they showed. I saw some like iPhone shot of the gameplay, and it looked like Black Ops 3. It looked like wall running and all that sort of stuff. It just which to the point where maybe someone just sent out a video of leaked old Black Ops 3 footage and said, here it is, and as a joke, and maybe I just fell for it. But it just looked like the same thing again, and that doesn't seem cool. But what I saw of the campaign back at E3 looked interesting. The idea of like this space jet is going to land in front of me, I'm going to get into it, and then I'm going to No Man's Sky my way into space and then fight up there and that sort of stuff. Like that stuff seemed cool.
I think it's going to lose me, though, when I'm shooting robots. Like, when I'm playing Call of Duty, I want to shoot bad guys. I don't want to shoot robots. And, like, it's getting too far future.
What's it matter?
It feels like more of a, like, real war thing. I don't want Star Wars. I want real
war
modern
is
warfare
about,
stuff.
We are on the tipping point of real war being closer to people shooting robots than World War II.
Not like humanoid
not-
walking around.
You are
robots and
not
stuff.
wrong about that.
Well,
but
I mean, drones and stuff.
but
yeah, but
I would just say, like, in a video game context, like, forget what's going on in the real world. Like, there are a ton of other games with that kind of motif already.
I mean,
Yeah,
like,
Like,
a lot of
Titanfall
a lot of Gears of War 4 is you shooting robots.
I would appreciate the Call of Duty like had its own identity and not just chased like future war stuff the same way that like.
Well, Call of Duty 4, I mean, remember, though, it was the thing that Infinite Warfare is now and other games like it are now, because it was the game that was like, fuck World War II.
Yeah.
Here's some real guns and conflicts that you might recognize from the news.
Yeah, but they're not setting that pace anymore like they were then. Like now, like Titanfall is out there already. Like, you know.
And, you know, Battlefield just turned the clock back. In setting, but not in gameplay.
But I mean, I guess it's better than everybody doing the same thing.
Yeah, totally.
To have all these different directions at the same time.
Yeah, so
because like the shooter landscape got pretty homogenous there for a while.
It got boring, you know. Like
but it feels like everything is the robot stuff now. Everything is the future stuff.
Are you a robot
Battlefield
sympathizer, Dan?
I don't have a problem with robots.
Yeah. Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah,
You're a
apparently not.
sympathizer.
I just don't. I think we are homogenous now, and that everything is this kind of far-flung robots and lasers.
Not
stuff
Battlefield.
now.
I mean, obviously.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that, and especially since that's like a different era than the World War II stuff and everything.
Trying to think. I mean,
I've been like somewhat indifferent about Battlefield. I think it looks amazing, and it was fun to play when they ran that beta, but like I'm not feeling passion. I'm not like, oh man, I can't wait to play more Battlefield.
I'm curious to see what they do with the campaign in that. Though.
Yeah,
like what kind of story they wrap around like an actual real war that took place, which they haven't made a game about in a very long time.
It's been a while. Yeah, I just want Battlefield 2.
So the Modern Warfare stuff. Okay, yeah.
I mean, I want Battlefield 1944.
No, man.
So nobody's getting what they want.
Yeah, so I don't know. The Modern Warfare Remastered stuff is interesting, and yeah, it'll be neat to see how that stuff goes this year, and then what happens.
Yeah, like if
next year.
Super curious if like the numbers on those multiplayers.
I think it's just
will be competitive with each other.
You look at this and it looks like them trying to kind of stave off. Like that series falling into irrelevance.
Yeah, like it's a massive value add for.
Right.
I mean, did you get it with the $60 package?
No.
Or you have to buy the.
No, I think you have to buy the mid-tier or higher package.
What are their tiers?
Is it hardened and prestige? I don't know.
Is it like
I don't know what they
60 to 100 or because the season
I
pass is
don't-
like
I-
$50, right?
Yeah.
Have they gotten away from their like super expensive editions being like, okay, you got an RC car. Okay, next one you got an actual drone you can fly around. Is it still really wacky with that stuff?
I think they've got away from some of that stuff. I want to say physical. They didn't do one of those last year.
Okay. They did one. What was the tactical camera that straps to your head or whatever?
Yeah.
Everybody else
the night
still
vision
is, though.
stuff. Yeah.
Those things are still. There was like I should look at what the price was, but Record did one of those.
Right.
Oh god,
Yeah.
did
like
you
a
see the
$200
Mafia 3 one?
No.
Like a $300 tier. Actual comes with like a fucking turntable.
What?
Yeah.
Like a functional one?
Yeah, it looks as such.
Weird.
That looks
Jay-Z and
crazy.
Eminem branded.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
No,
but
all right.
it's like
Now,
signed
if
by
it's
the
Mafia
team.
3 Renegade Edition,
Yeah.
then I'm on board. That's ridiculous.
We have a party at E3.
Okay.
1968 was a big year for Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then so I'm also about a little under halfway through Gears of War.
Okay. And you can start discussing that.
A little bit.
Yeah, because it's like Gears.
Gears is out
what's
Friday.
The order? It's Gears, then Titanfall, then Battlefield, then Call of Duty. I think is how it
I
goes.
think that's how this is
It's
going
just
to
like
go.
a straight month of the big shooters of the
Yeah,
year, just
right.
like all stacking up on top of each other.
Yeah, so I'm I'm in basically the beginning of Act 3 in the Gears 4 campaign right now.
Of how many, do you think?
5.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's they
Kinda
typically always do it that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Standard structure. I am really enjoying that game so far.
Yeah, some of the stuff you've been
It's-
saying has been shocking me. 'cause-
Gameplay or just like
The gameplay is the same. There are new weapons. There's a charge-up sniper rifle and a cool double-fire shotgun thing that is fun to shoot. And there's some other new weapons that I haven't used in the campaign yet or anything like that. But that game, it's kind of awesome to return to the world of Gears of War after this many years have passed, both real world and where the campaign is taking place.
okay.
I didn't think I would end up being nostalgic for the characters of Gears of War,
That's kind of weird.
but when they reintroduce you to classic Gears of War protagonist, it is one of my favorite things that has happened in a video game in a long time.
Oh,
There's
wow.
some fucking amazing.
Is it because of how they do it?
Yes.
Not
It is-
not
it
just
is-
you're happy to see the guy.
No, it has nothing to do with happy to see the guy, because obviously that's going to happen.
I mean, he's been in trailers.
like Marcus has been in the trailers,
Yeah.
but the way they do it
yeah.
is there's this wink and nod, and maybe it's just because that's what I'm looking for,
Yeah.
but there's this subtle acknowledgement of by the way, you're right, this thing is fucking ridiculous. All right, let's go.
So it's
All
like
right,
dumb
awesome.
good the way they introduced it, like self-aware dumb good.
I am
We're hoping
detecting some self-awareness
Okay,
in that stuff,
okay.
but I couldn't tell you what their intent was.
This is already more than I expected from this game.
But that stuff's really good, and I've been playing it on PC. Playing that campaign at a good high frame rate is nice. They do a lot with this is some of the stuff when they initially unveiled the game. They talked about weather effects and stuff like that as playing a role, and that stuff looks really great.
Yeah, like that sandstorm that we saw in some of those trailers.
Yeah,
Wow.
that stuff is kind of happening while you're playing in the game, and it's really neat. You're hiding behind cover and shooting robots in the chunk of the game that I've played so far.
Wait,
because
Are there locusts?
Yeah, I was going to ask that question.
Like,
but
we'll get to the
Oh, right,
we'll see how the rest of the game plays
talk
out.
about that later. Do they at least provide a decent justification for why you're having to fight shit?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because everything was all settled
I don't need
and,
that,
and
man.
peaceful at the end of
Right, but then, I mean, these robots are gears. These are they've taken the humans out of the loop.
Oh.
And you are defending settlements, and like there's some neat stuff. There's like they have like horde mode style things that work its way back into the campaign.
Cool. That
Like,
sounds awesome.
So that's the stuff where there is some differences. There's like a really fucking killer vehicle sequence that again, like from a gameplay perspective, you're doing what you do.
Yeah.
But it just looks fantastic. So that ends up making those sequences feel a lot cooler than it would be otherwise.
How deep do you get into that horde stuff? Are you like building static defenses?
Not super deep.
Yeah.
But maybe it comes back. Like I said,
Yeah.
I'm not quite halfway through the campaign. But my early take on it is that it was kind of a slow start, and then once it started going, I was like, oh wait a minute, oh wait a minute, oh wait a minute, like this is actually fucking cool. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing the rest of it. The multiplayer stuff, the horde mode stuff sounds interesting. So when I can get in on that, when there are other people playing the game.
That'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, they've been hosting sessions for reviewers and stuff like that, but I just haven't been able to make it to any of those. So I'm going to play it when it's out.
Yeah.
Is it 4-player co-op?
I haven't really been able to dig into that stuff
I think that's
too
what
much,
I've
but
read,
yes,
but
it seems like it
I would
would be.
imagine.
And
Seems
like
it
crossplay
seems like
as
it
well.
I
definitely.
mean, I think they had 4-player in 3.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
when they introduced it.
Yeah.
And Judgment, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Judgment.
Yeah, game's all right.
No, Judgment's not all right.
Baird sucks. Judgment is a fun game
I like
to
how
play.
I have.
See, Judgment was them going back to the well one too many times too soon after Gears 3.
yeah.
and,
Yeah.
Like I don't think
It's
that
the
game
weakest
is,
one. I think it's the weakest one by
Yeah.
far.
I like
but
how
I still had fun
multiple
playing
people,
it.
multiple people I know in talking about this game coming out have said something along the lines of, "Yeah, I guess it has been like 5 years since the last Gears of War."
Yeah, it's like
It's
no,
like people
it kind
keep
of
forgetting
hasn't.
that
But the
Judgment
last
even
real
happened.
Gears of War, like Judgment Judgment shouldn't have happened. Ultimately,
No, whatever. It's not like it hurts.
I would have rather have seen a Gears of War Connect game. Seen what that would have been,
Wow.
since that's the thing that was supposedly killed.
Wait,
and
really?
Gears of War
That-
Judgment
that
was
was
the
happening?
contract
Oh,
fulfilling
no.
fourth game.
Wow.
So that was the story I heard. I don't know.
Huh.
Is that they had a 4-game deal and
what
they were
would
like,
that have
well,
been?
let's do this, and then Judgment happened instead.
Connect games are all so bad.
But like, yeah. Anyway, Gears 4 feels like that return to form that
Good.
that you've been looking for
That is all
so
way
far.
better than
And-
I was expecting out of this game.
And
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they've like I care about the Gears of War story insofar as I think the characters are ridiculous, and there are things at the end of Gears 3 that I would like to know more about. But I don't necessarily. This is not me telling you that I like think the Gears of War story is incredible.
Oh no! But there, I mean, there are a bunch of
they left enough loose ends that like I'm happy to know more.
Yeah.
And I hope that they visit some of that stuff in this campaign.
There-
I don't know where it's going to go. It's hard to kind of get a read on.
they're all a bunch of lovable meatheads that you can't take too seriously.
Yes.
Is basically how it works.
Yeah.
Like if you take any of that stuff too seriously, you're making a mistake.
Yeah. Yes. Some people went out and got Gears of War tattoos. I think that's a bad move.
Oh, plenty of people have.
But whatever, people are going to do what they're going to do. But yes, that it's been real cool so far, and
Good.
I wanna kind of I'm anxious to get back to it.
Yeah.
It runs pretty well on Xbox One as well. I mean, you don't get the frame rate in the campaign, but the multiplayer stuff's still there.
I'm excited for the crossplay stuff.
Yeah.
that's cool.
Mhm. That's the stuff-
I'm anxious to play it on PC, and I've got a bunch of friends on Xbox One, so it'll be
Yeah.
great to
So that'll work in campaign and horde mode,
Right.
And the way they've got it worded is that standard competitive or a standard versus multiplayer is not crossplay.
Okay.
Because they don't want the mouse keyboard thing to disrupt the balance of the game or whatever. So those pools are split. But maybe they have modes in there that are like social versus, and maybe that's together. They don't really do a great job of saying in game like which ones are going to be split which way.
Yeah. Interesting.
So maybe private matches they let you get together. I don't know where they draw the line for that stuff, but horde mode and the campaign, you can be on PC and you can be on whatever.
So
super cool.
Can't wait for that horde mode.
I wonder if I'll be able to, if I own one copy of the game, if I can play on my PC, with the frame rate and everything, and then have my fiance on the Xbox
Yes.
and us
Really?
playing on the same
with only
account with
one-
one
Not
copy
on
of the game?
the same account.
Yeah.
Because
no, you
Oh,
can't
but-
be signed in
you
and
can't
playing
be.
on both.
Yeah. So you
Right, well, she could sign in with her if it's on my home Xbox.
Yes, if you're playing, if she's playing with her account, that I don't know for certain, but that would almost certainly work.
Okay, so her account on my Xbox.
Yes, where it is your home Xbox, so she can play games that are owned on your account.
Yeah.
And then you playing on PC, that should work.
Unless they've
Okay.
gone out of their way to disallow that.
Right,
'Cause,
exactly.
like,
That would be them. They would go out of the way to do that.
Yeah.
But
So
like
two full
you wouldn't-
screens.
But you wouldn't be able to be on the same account because like if Forza,
Right.
like if you try to launch Forza on an Xbox
Like
One
too
and it's
soon,
running
yeah.
on your PC, or if you just even quit it on a
Yeah,
PC,
it takes a while.
it'll pop up and be like, you're playing this somewhere else.
Right.
And
right.
you can
wanna-
at that point say like, well, stop.
Yeah,
And
but
then
then
it'll launch.
It'll
but-
kill the other one.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I'm going to try
So
that.
Theoretically, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to do that unless they specifically went out of their way to stop it.
Here's where it will get dumb, is that I will try to stream the Xbox to a laptop
Okay.
so I can play with the frame rate and PC thing on my big screen. So her playing through the Xbox streamed to her or my PC, my laptop, and me playing on my PC on the TV.
That's
Theoretically, that
Yeah,
should
that-
work, right?
Theoretically, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can stream from the Xbox to
Right,
your
yeah.
Xbox
Yep.
app
Yep.
Right.
on a laptop.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to try that.
That
Okay.
all should work. That's
Okay.
yeah. I'm trying to think if there are any more things you could stack on top of this to make it dumber, but
I could FaceTime from my phone.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Get a Skype call going.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking forward to this. I'm going to try that.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll have more on that game later this week, I guess.
Yeah, that thing is same as Forza. That thing's out on Friday.
You get like
basically.
early access
if
to
you,
that,
yeah,
if you have a big
if you
package. Or...
buy the big package, which you got card packs and other stuff in it that is just looking like, man.
I think was it last
But
week?
the card packs seem a little different than traditional games with disposable cards. so-
Okay.
At some point last week, we were trying to figure out what you get in that
Right.
Ultimate Edition because all the maps are going to be free. But
Yeah.
I don't know if we ever came out and said like the way they're handling it is. It sounds like there's a core playlist that has a subset of the free maps at any given time, and if you haven't bought those maps, those are the only ones you can play. So basically, like having the Ultimate Edition gives you every map all the time.
That only matters if you want to play private matches with friends and set up your own matches and all that sort of stuff, which I would never do. So that's yeah. But I think you play Horde mode on the multiplayer maps, so maybe that would make a case for why you would want that stuff.
Anyway, that's the one you have to play Friday, right?
Yeah, probably. I assume so.
Ugh.
And then Tuesday for the properly priced version of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's more or less what I've been doing.
All right, that's great. I am excited to hear all that.
I am too.
Every showing that game had, I looked at looked at that thing and said like, it looks fine. It looks like Gears.
Judgment left like a real bad taste in
Yep.
my mouth.
Yeah,
and
well,
like
here.
I took a hard left.
More
from-
than anything,
from
it's like they
Gears.
wrapped up the trilogy. Like I didn't think they'd be able to come back and
The man
justify.
took the do-rag off.
Right.
Where do you go
right,
from there?
right. Like I didn't see any way they could justify coming back and starting
where
a
they
new.
go from there.
Especially because I mean, whatever. It's like it's a totally different studio, different franchise. But like the new Halo trilogy has felt not especially like
Right.
essential.
Yeah.
Like it's really tough.
And
to
also,
wrap,
and they're billing this as like welcome to the start of a new Gears
Right.
of War saga.
and like
so
Mass Effect's
this
gonna have the
is-
same problem like any of those games that had this like epic like 3-game
Yeah.
series that they like definitively ended.
Right.
Like it's always a little tough to come back and say there's a new war. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But this one, by giving you a new primary protagonist, by putting some years between 3 and 4,
yeah.
and letting you, and kind of like flipping these conflicts on their head a little bit. I don't know where it goes, but early on, that's almost what it seems like. Makes it like you're seeing this stuff from a very different angle than you did in the initial trilogy, and
But
and
it still has
different
some like
motivations
familiar
and-
characters to kind
Absolutely.
of ease these new characters into.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, totally. So like I think what they're doing with it is really interesting, and it justifies itself pretty early on in terms of just like here's why we're opening the book back up on Gears of War.
Okay.
You're like, oh, okay, all right, no, okay, cool, let's go.
Wow.
So yeah, I think that end of it so far I've enjoyed.
Excellent.
Rad.
That is
All right.
some promising news to hear.
If you want to chainsaw robots and hide behind stuff and shoot stuff, like
What's it like to chainsaw a robot? They don't have any
Are there
blood.
sparks? Are there a lot of
So many
sparks?
there's like oil.
Okay.
For one thing, that
Okay.
splatters on the screen.
Okay.
And you cut it in half and then kick it away and it blows up.
All right.
Okay.
Sure.
Can that damage other robots
Seems
when
like
it blows
it.
up? Okay.
Seems like it.
But the spark situation.
So they have
Is
martyrdom.
that pretty crazy?
There's some sparks.
Yeah. Okay.
There's some
All right.
sparks.
All right. I need sparks.
Yeah, they drop a grenade when they die.
Yeah.
So what you're
Yeah,
saying.
no, I was looking forward to this game just because I felt like I was ready for that gameplay again, but I think I had a lot of those concerns about like what do you even do gameplay wise and all that other stuff. Like maybe they'll flub it along the way. Like I said, I haven't finished it, but early on they very definitively say, "Here's why we made another one of these games."
That is awesome.
and
Cool.
you go like, "Okay, cool, all right."
Sweet.
That is great to hear.
Yeah.
All right, we got to take our first break. Let's take our first break.
Building a website. That's a song I just came up with.
What's a website?
A website is it's a place where you can store a lot of information for people, and they can find it, and you don't have to give it to them every time. You provide the information on the website, and then they can look at it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week,
Okay.
365 days a year.
Got it. What's a song?
It's like a music thing. Look, how about I build a website that'll tell you about what a song is?
I'm with you now.
It's easy because I can use Squarespace.
What's a Squarespace?
Squarespace is a website that builds websites.
Okay.
Yeah, you can use their beautiful templates to crank something out fast, or you can spend all the time you want. No scripting required. Just use your mouse. Just click. It's simple. It's intuitive. Do a thing.
It's like recursive website building.
Exactly.
Websites that build websites.
Websites building websites. Where does it end?
Pine is not elm.
Pine is definitely not Elm. They've got some seamless commerce tools, too. So if you want to build a website that can sell stuff like songs or definitions of what a song may be,
Could you use a website to build a website that sells websites?
I bet you probably totally could do that.
Okay.
You absolutely, I'm sure, I'm almost positive you could do that. And if you have trouble building your website that builds websites,
That sells websites.
that sells websites,
That is made of websites.
you can turn to Squarespace's 24/7 customer support. They've got a team that will assist you, via live chat, that sort of thing.
Like on a website.
No matter how trivial your problem may seem, they are ready to help you.
Great.
And you can start a free trial.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Free website trial.
Free website trial. Start that free trial today at squarespace.com and enter the offer code BOMBCAST, and you'll get 10% off your first purchase. How about that?
It's a healthy savings.
How about that?
How about it?
How about it?
Dan, what's been going on in your life?
I've been playing a lot of video games.
Yeah?
Oh,
A
good.
lot. That's pretty much all I've been
This is a
doing.
good time for that.
Yeah. Actually, you mentioned Halo in the last thing.
You play that.
I'm near the end of Halo 2 now. We're working through all of them.
Are you going through in order?
Yeah, and I remember back when I played it in 04 or whatever, I was like, this is a hilariously impenetrable plot. Like, I don't know what's going on with these covenants. I don't know who this Arbiter guy is. And now that I'm just watching the cutscenes and stuff, I don't know if it's the new anniversary cutscenes or whatever, but it's just like, oh yeah, okay, I get what's going on here.
There's a giant talking plant, and this totally makes sense.
I'm kind of into the plot so far.
Yeah.
I don't think it's amazing or anything, but I'm following it, and it's like, oh, okay, I see what's going on with the Arbiter and the Prophets and all that stuff. So, yeah, I'm liking it a lot more this time.
I think I didn't.
Did you have the same issues following along?
I was not during the time that I played it, but Halo 2 was definitely not, I guess, to the level of Halo 1 that I was, expecting when I played it. But I remember going back through the Halo games with Alexis over the Extra Life streams.
Yeah.
And when we got to Halo 2, I was expecting oh man, this is going to be rough. But then kind of like Dan, I was like, oh yeah, this part was fun. Oh yeah, this part was fun.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. Halo 2 is not so bad.
It has aged really well too. I mean, there are kind of directionless parts or whatever, but overall, it's great.
For me, the ending of that game overshadowed so much of it.
Yeah.
Right.
That was
I
the
think that's-
controversy.
I think
at the
that's
time.
probably why
Yeah,
I
for
had
sure.
such a
Right.
lower expectation.
Because I went into
to
that
it.
game. I played that game when we were off for Christmas break.
Dude, do you remember the level of secrecy and tension and
around the Arbiter stuff.
stakes just around the release of that game, specifically being
yeah.
at GameSpot, trying to
Cover the game
at the time being effectively the biggest video game media outlet in the world,
effectively nothing.
Well, yeah, but working with the trying to review it, the level of guarded secrecy around here's how we're gonna. It was I think the first time I remember where they were very like heavy-handedly, like you were going to come here, you were going to have between this hour and this hour to play this game.
Yeah,
like it
was like that in MGS2. I think were the first two.
I guess that wasn't the first
that.
time, but like it was just man.
I mean, kind of understandably with those two games.
They just
and for the exact same reason.
Yeah.
Just Halo 2 was treated as like the most high-stakes release of all time at that time.
And I remember like at the time of its release, like I didn't review it. Greg reviewed it, and then just kind of being like, whatever, I don't care. Like Halo 2 is just like, who gives a shit? Yeah. Like it's just not that big a deal. And then like I was like, oh, I got to play Halo 2 at some point. So over Christmas break, like it was a little while after its release, I sat down and kind of chugged through it in about 2 days, and got to the end, saw it fading out to be done, and just dropped the controller and was just like, man, fuck this. What the fuck did I just waste my fucking time doing? That ending really left a horrible taste in my mouth.
It's the only Halo game I've never finished. Is it really that? Is it that abrupt?
It's extremely abrupt. It's total like end of a season cliffhanger, like Dallas Who Shot JR type of thing.
Is it just like complete lack of closure? Like,
it's like,
very timely.
I'm trying to remember because he goes out and he sees like there's a bunch more Halos or something, and it's time to finish the fight or something, and then it goes off. It's like, oh yeah, let's go fuck up these Halos or something, and then it's like, oh okay, that game's over.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Am I remembering that correctly? It's been a while.
I think that sounds right. And
they discover there's more Halos.
Yeah, and so
like riding a bomb or something?
I was not a huge Halo 1 fan to begin with, so like, I wasn't super invested to begin with, but at that point I was just like, okay, nope, fuck this. And then I ended up really liking Halo 3.
That was the one that got me into the series as like a fan.
Same here. Halo 3 is the one that got me.
It was like, okay, this is now a much better game.
Yep.
And it felt like that they had just kind of gotten a little bit better at their storytelling stuff.
Yeah.
Also, like the way 2 ended made for a very like exciting start to 3.
Yeah.
Like shit was just going
sure
at the beginning of 3.
Yeah.
I almost begrudgingly played through the first 2 just because they were such phenomenons at the time.
That's more or less where I was at with it.
Yeah, and then 3 was the one where I finally felt comfortable being like, okay, this is a good video game. I like this game.
Yeah.
Through and through.
Yeah.
And now going back with the benefit of time and knowing I'm not going to have to wait years, to finish the fight or whatever.
Right.
It's 2 is really good. But I am looking forward to getting to 3. Quick stuff on other stuff I'm playing before I get into bigger stuff. Sonic Boom, Fire and Ice is not great.
Didn't look like it. Yeah.
Yokai Watch seems cool.
That quick looks up on the site, but not on YouTube.
Yeah,
it
weird.
went up on YouTube for a while, but I didn't want it going on because it's got a full episode.
I didn't know that you guys watched a full episode. So
YouTube didn't take it down. Like I took it down because I knew like at some point someone else would if I didn't.
We watched the full Chili Dog Day afternoon episode.
That was the right one. That was the right one. That's a good introductory course.
Yeah, it tells a tale.
Yeah.
Oh, so you know the whole season?
I have no idea.
Are the other episodes good, or should we, the Chili Dog Day afternoon
start
really
there,
the
and
best?
if that grabs you,
it did. I'll tell you, it did.
Stop
Wait,
there.
there's
one based on like My Dinner with Andre. They're all based on classic films.
There's a Harold Maude one that's pretty killer.
Oh shit,
Kramer versus Kramer. Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that a 3DS game?
Yeah, it's
They just like pack
2D
a bunch of
platformer.
There's a DVD. There's some versions of the game come with a No, it's not part of the game.
That makes sense, I guess.
It's like launch edition comes with a DVD with 3 episodes of this fucking awful cartoon.
Now I
Actually,
see.
though, the cartoon
It's
was
fine.
maybe not awful, less
It's
awful
fine.
than the game.
I mean, the game is not like broken. It's just a lame 2D platformer.
Is it just it's just a Sonic game?
Yeah,
Like,
with a bunch
You
of
can
foreground,
switch
background
between-
stuff.
You can switch
Okay.
between like 5 characters, and each one has his own ability,
same.
his or her own ability.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yokai Watch, I'm a few hours into. That seems cool. I like that. I never played the first one.
Are you playing
like what I
Bony
saw, the first
Spirits
one.
or
I am
Fleshy Balls
playing-
or whatever it's called?
I'm playing Bony Fleshy Bones. No,
It's Fleshy
Bony
or Bony.
Spirits and Fleshy Souls. I'm playing Bony Spirits.
The right choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fun game. It's like Pokemon with a different weird battle system.
Yeah.
I'm only a few hours into it, but we'll
Did
do
you
a
play the
quick look
first
at that.
one?
Not at all.
Okay.
No, I know Drew
I know
did.
Drew played.
Yeah.
It feels like not long at all ago since the first one came out.
Well, because they've
Like-
both been out for a long time in Japan.
Okay,
So
right.
like
just-
this one came out in 14.
Okay. Oh wow.
In Japan, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when these games showed up, I was like taken aback. I was like, oh, they're putting out the Yokai Watch sequel this soon. I knew they'd announced it was coming, but it just felt like it would have been
Yeah.
further off. And yeah,
It seems like that first one was kind of a surprise hit, so they're like, all right, let's get this one out there too.
cool.
well, it's huge in Japan, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, ended up doing well here.
Dinked around with Destiny a bit, not too much. Forza is still playing
Oh,
that.
we should
That's
talk-
good. Well,
We should talk about
You can talk about it.
well, okay. Yeah,
Man.
you'll probably have more to say about it because I just dinked around a little bit, and it's whatever.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more Destiny.
That fucking expansion is not.
Not great.
Expansive.
It's got problems.
Oh,
A lot of them.
it's a bummer.
Yeah.
Would those problems be reset if you were able to start a character from scratch and then also play on a PC?
No.
Okay.
It's got a bunch of technical issues. I've had quests like kind of bug out in different ways.
Oh, great.
Remember the Court of Oryx from Taken King?
Yeah.
It's that
Yeah.
repeatable
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
where you get a lot
yeah,
of cool
yeah.
loot from it and
Yeah.
stuff. So they have an equivalent of that here called the Archon's Forge,
Okay.
but it requires 2 items to start
Mm-hmm.
that you get randomly as drops
Cool.
in the world, and you can only have one of them at a time. I went there. One of them is a key that opens a door to get in there, and then the second one is like the offering that you put up to start the encounter. I started the encounter with my one and only item, like stood on the platform to watch the enemies spawn below. A door shut on my head. I couldn't move for like 30 seconds. I was like stuck. And then it errored out and said like the minions of the darkness recede or what, like it gave an error message saying like
Oh, wow.
they're taken off.
Yeah.
And then there I was still standing there without the item to start the encounter again.
Cool.
Could not just got the item again after like 3 more hours.
They
to
should
do that.
They should make that game fun.
Yeah,
some
Taken
point.
King was so good. Like this one is regressive in some weird ways. Like I was reading that this is just common sentiment, but I had run into it myself. Like there's just a bad grinding period in the leveling curve on this one.
I've always heard that.
Is it just like you can pop to 350 immediately, but then after that
No.
it slows way down? or
No,
what's- where
I am
does
at
the...
I am at 345, and I feel like I've been like scrabbling for the last like 5 life.
Oh, so is the grind just
Yes.
like legendary
Yes.
marks?
Remember, no,
Because like you can get 350 everything
I mean,
with legendary
yeah,
marks.
but that would take a while to get enough marks to buy all that gear.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you need to be. I think it's 360 to really have a shot in the raid.
Yeah.
So even then, even if you bought all that 350 gear, which I have not done, like I don't have enough currency for that. It's somewhat reminiscent of first year Destiny of like, well, I finished all the story shit. I want to do the raid, but I need this much light to get
Okay.
in there,
There's
and all I
this
can do is
gigantic
just
gap.
keep running strikes and hope that I
Yeah.
get the shit. Yeah, it's. I can't believe that they like left a like lull in the leveling in here like that.
Yeah.
It's a real bummer.
I've always wanted to get into Destiny.
Yeah.
What was always preventing me actually was my fucking router. Apparently, like I was getting disconnected like every 5 to 10 minutes. Like I could never make any progress in that game. But I've replaced my router this
Nice.
weekend, and
Okay.
I
You can join the incessant grind with the rest of us.
and now you're telling
There's
me
never
that,
been a better time to
Yeah,
not play
exactly.
Destiny.
But that was the thing Taken King did so well was they rolled out all that new quest system, and like they constantly
Right.
were giving you stuff to do that was like fun and meaningful right up until you got into the raid, And like this just does not have that. It's a real bummer.
But yeah, the Taken King stuff, got me back, in interest mode, I guess.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
hearing this, that sounds like a bummer.
Yeah. I'll keep
Man.
going. I have to see that raid. It sounds
Sure.
like it's good.
Okay.
And I need to see it, so I will.
What is
tough
that
it
business
out.
where they were doing like logic puzzles?
Yeah, I was watching a stream where like you get an item that has a bunch of nodes that you go into the menu where you normally would level up, you pop the
Right.
little bubbles to set the abilities, but it's like it's some logic gate problem where you're like setting values to
Oh.
like create a circuit and all this weird shit.
Like you got to get a notepad out.
Yeah,
and do
there's
some
some weird puzzle solving in that thing. I want to mess with that stuff, but it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Speaking of problems,
yes.
Paper Mario Color Splash.
Oh no.
What?
Uh,
How are there problems? It's a Paper Mario.
The
game.
whole fucking thing is a mess because of the combat system. It's such a disappointment because there's so much good stuff going on in that game.
Lots of good humor from what I've seen.
It looks
So-
gorgeous.
Yeah, it
it's
looks
funny
great.
as hell.
yeah.
So this is not your review, right? You haven't finished the
No,
game.
I've not
but
finished
what-
yet.
so-
I'm a good way into it.
Okay.
But
But your,
I just
your
keep getting
impressions,
disappointed.
you would call them negative.
Yes, like I want to keep,
Oh, I see.
I want to keep moving through to see the story because it's making me laugh. But every time you get into a fight, it's a huge bummer.
It makes like exclusive use of that of the touchscreen.
It's the
correct?
gamepad
Yeah,
thing, and so
gamepad
every time
thing.
you want to do an attack, you have a card. You have up to 100 cards on the gamepad.
Okay.
You
100
can
cards.
scroll through them, which takes a long time.
Sure.
You have to swipe them up to select the cards you want. You have to fill them with paint to a certain degree, which increases the damage. You
By
confirm
by
that.
holding down on the card.
Yes, on the
This is
card.
all like
Okay.
stuff that takes time to set up.
You're not like
Yeah.
coloring it in with a stylus. Or
No, you
anything.
just hold down on it.
Okay, all right.
You confirm that. Then you have to swipe them up to play the cards. And then you can do the kind of timing-based fun Paper Mario stuff. It's a finite thing, so you can have like, I've got 4 jump cards in my thing, so I can jump 4 times. And then you'll get to the point where it's like, oh, I'm fighting a Goomba. I just want to jump on his head. I don't have any jumps. Oh, I guess I have to use this giant blazing hammer that I'm saving for a boss.
Right. I watched you play a bunch of it, and like realistically, it seemed like there's no way you will ever completely run out of cards. Like you always have some cards to attack with, but like
the
idea of an RPG, like a Japanese RPG combat system where you don't have a reliable like infinite attack of any kind, like
just a basic ass like, hey, let me hit that Goomba with my hammer.
Right.
You can't do that.
Really?
I don't think I could deal with that.
And there's no real XP system. You collect these hammers that when you fill up this bar, when you get enough hammers, you can carry more paint. But other than that, like when you do huge story stuff, like you get one of the big paint stars, your HP goes up. But it's not like the old Paper Marios or the current Mario and Luigi's, where you have RPG stats. You have hit points and strength and defense.
Mustache.
You got a mustache rating.
You have your stash. It's stash.
Stash stat.
I'm a little more formal.
Okay, all right.
When it comes to that stuff.
Call me
old-fashioned. But
just everything takes forever. It's such a bummer because it's so funny.
Yeah, what I saw of it, the writing was really sharp.
Yeah, but
it looks amazing.
Here's the lame thing even about the writing in the world is that fucking everything in that game is a Toad. Everything.
Like
the
Toad.
old games,
Like Toad.
even the old games, like, oh, here's a Toad. He's got glasses, or he's got a little jacket, or that one's got a mustache. There's Toadsworth. This one, they're all the same fucking Toad. And then every time there's a quest, we're like, oh, go talk to this wise old sage, or oh, here's a spooky ghost. It's just a fucking Toad. It's not even a Toad with a beard. It's just a fucking yellow-ass Toad.
is it a Toad that is like pretending to be a spooky-ass ghost? Like he's wearing a sheet? Or what, is it?
No, not even that much. Like the ghost stuff I just did, there's like an aura around it. But other than that, it's like you just took the fucking Toad from every other part of this game and you turned up like a glow in Photoshop. Okay. And
it is the Mushroom Kingdom. Their primary residents are toads.
But there were cool like Koopa Troopas and all sorts of like tons of characters in those first 2 Paper Mario games, which were great. Super Paper Mario was lame. Sticker Star was lamer. This might be worse. And there's so much good about it. It's so gorgeous. It's got a lot of funny ideas. It plays with the paper stuff pretty well. Oh, God. I want to like this game so fucking bad. But the combat system is fucking terrible.
If the thing that you're spending half of your time doing is no good.
I spend half the time running away from fights. In each world, you're supposed to fill in all the kind of blank spaces with paint, and you've got like a paint hammer. And it's kind of fun in this OCD way of like, okay, I want to get 100% paint ranking on every one of these levels and paint all this stuff. But you have to walk around like, shit, there's a fucking slurp guy over there. I gotta, there are shy guys. They're bad guys. But, they see you and the exclamation point goes up and they run and a fight starts and you get pissed off. And then you want to flee because you don't want to do the fucking fight. But then Kamek, or Magic Koopa, shows up from time to time and fucks up all your stuff, makes it so you can't see your cards, so you don't know what you're wasting, and also takes away the flee button. That just happens randomly throughout the game. And then, if you're big on fucking painting in everything and all the levels, and you get real happy about your 100% rating, and you get a little yellow flag on the world map, fucking the shy guy Slurp Bandit shows up. Fuck.
Yeah.
On the overworld. So you'll just be like, okay. It's really directionless at times. So there's a lot of times where it's like, oh, I got to find 12 rescue squad Toad cadets. And so you're just going to all these fucking levels because you don't know where to go because you don't know where they're at. And if you take too much time, all of a sudden on the overworld, it's like, oh, fucking Slurpy Shy Guy shows up and he's going to suck all the color out of your level.
And then you just have to do it again?
Yeah, no. So he runs to the fucking level on the overworld with a straw and sucks all the color out of the level. Not all of it. If you get there fast enough, it'll be like, oh, you went from 100% to 40%. And then it's like, oh, okay, I got to go fucking paint this whole fucking level again.
That's what I mean. You have to go back and
you go
paint it
back
all
in.
again?
You got to navigate that whole fucking level and find out where he slurped up all the fucking paint.
Do you have to fight all the enemies again?
Yeah, the enemies are back. They respawn when you go back in.
And
that makes me want a Qbert RPG where like Ugg and Wrong, or the like Slick shows up and hops on the level you completed to change it all back, and then you got to fucking hop on his fucking head and then hop on the squares in that level again.
If this had a
Let's
normal...
do this. I'm funding
who's got the
Qbert
Qbert
RPG. I do.
I think Wreck-It Ralph has it now.
Yeah, no, well, Gottlieb doesn't exist anymore, so Qbert would have... Who put out... I think Sony put out a Qbert game. PS3. Yeah. Hasbro might have it now.
Yeah.
It might have gotten wrapped up in some of that stuff. I don't know.
You all right, buddy?
If this fucking game had normal-ass RPG mechanics...
over there.
Yeah, I've been so pissed off playing this game.
I can tell. I'm sorry.
Because if it had a normal combat system... Just throwing just the old stuff. You know, just jump, hammer, get some, not bro attacks, that's the Mario and Luigi thing.
Add a new special attack.
Yeah, that uses flower points or fucking whatever.
Paper cuts.
Yeah, sure.
Do you think they're trying to not infringe on Mario and Luigi's
That's what I
battle
wonder,
system?
because Mario and Luigi has kept with the standard JRPG formula.
It's always seemed a little weird to me that they have two Mario RPG like franchises that are kind of the same thing.
And that's probably why they did get weird with Paper Mario. Like, even Super Paper Mario, for all intents and purposes, is a platformer, and it had the gimmick of, like, rotating the 2D to 3D or whatever. And then Sticker
Like
Star...
Crush? PSP games.
Oh, okay. They just fucked it all up. It's...
Kind of. I mean, not,
Mario and Luigi's still good. I don't know. I've kind of liked them less as they've gone on.
Even that last Mario and Luigi, you didn't seem super hot on.
Yeah, but when it comes down to it, I think it's a good game. I think all the Mario and Luigis are good to really great games.
Have they ever? They've never made a Wii U one of those, have they?
Mario and Luigi, no.
Or a console one?
No, just Game Boy Advance and DS and 3DS.
Yeah.
But man, this is the fucking worst. It's just with the combat system, and if you just made some things, not Toads, it would be one of the best Mario RPG games. And as is, it's a giant pain in the ass. With some really good stuff there. That just makes it more of a bummer. If it was all pain in the ass, whatever, that's
easy
fine.
to write off, sure.
Yeah, but I don't want to write it off because there's funny shit in there.
There's some good stuff in there.
A mixed bag, you might say.
Sure, that'll be my subhead for my review.
No, it won't.
Yeah, I know.
That's
never.
That's like the big Wii U release for Q4.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
Fine, big.
Well, I mean, okay, it's the release.
Okay, all right.
What else
for
they
Q4.
got, man?
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, they don't.
A mixed paper bag?
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
All
Sure.
right, that's
sure.
Now you're getting there.
I should have picked plastic.
Your talents are wasted.
I mean,
on
whatever.
that,
Like
true.
that thing is tapering off. The NX is like 6 months away or something. But
Sure it is.
But we assume still at this point, even though September has come and gone,
Yeah.
with no news of what that thing is.
Nintendo's got an October surprise.
At least somebody does.
Well, I'll keep working on that, and I am planning on reviewing it. Other than that, I played some Paladins yesterday.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. We talked a little bit
Jason
about this last
mentioned
week,
that last week.
It's kind of weirdly shameless, but also I don't know the timeline of when
Yeah,
their
that's a little
characters and
muddy,
their
but-
abilities were first revealed, and when Overwatch was. But it's not just Overwatch. Like, it's got the Counter-Strike in-match like store thing,
Okay.
where you're buying perks and stuff that kind of reset each time, and you're earning stuff. It's
Kind
got
of MOBA-ish, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got like the Dota type thing there.
Yeah.
Like, and there's also cards. So you
This
unlock
is,
cards.
this is kind of cool. Yeah, like you choose your own specific loadout. Like you get a 10% damage boost to this specific power or something.
Yeah,
like
and
that.
the
So you
cards are
kinda
specific
customize
to
your
characters.
character. Yeah.
And so at the beginning, if you have 5 cards, you can fill all these slots. But then as you're playing, you're also doing the in-game store thing. So it's got bits of Dota and Counter-Strike in there, and also just so much Overwatch everywhere. I mean, it's got the payload thing, but that was around in Team Fortress.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It seems to crib from kind of everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think it's going to be pretty successful. Like, I don't know, maybe it already is super successful.
They announced it for console also. So
Yeah, it's
Oh, cool.
The thing is, it's actually kind of
I
good.
feel
it's
like
totally serviceable.
as much as some people seem to be up in arms about it being derivative, I see a lot of people talking about it.
Yeah, like I played a handful of rounds, and I don't have full sets of cards or whatever, so I haven't been able to dive deep into that system. But the rounds I played, it's totally serviceable. But it's
What do you think of, like, the level design? I thought I'd heard a couple people saying that like the level design was really dull.
I'd say unremarkable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, here's the ice level. It's they're not exciting, and the characters are just so like, hey, here's my character that can burst up and kind of feather jetpack type thing, and
a
also
lot of
rain down
one-to-ones, yeah.
rockets.
Okay, go
and-
on.
Yeah, it's Farah, but it's a
like
dragon.
right, like there's a turret guy, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a big knight, and he has a big shield.
Yeah,
It's
like
it's
there's-
Reinhardt,
I
but he's got a
think
flamethrower, so it's different.
Like I saw somebody saying there's a hook ability.
Oh, yeah, there's totally a Roadhog. He's like a
Yeah,
big
and
turtle.
that animation looks exactly the same. That's
But
good.
again, the hook is not a new idea.
Yeah, like none of those
you
things
know?
were new in Overwatch either. But,
Yeah.
but it does feel kind of like a perfect storm of like this one of the biggest games of the year. It just did all this stuff.
Yeah. It seems to kind of shamelessly crib concepts and aesthetics from a ton of other games, but it is fun to play, and it's free, so I could see it being huge.
Yeah.
Do you think that Overwatch is one of the biggest games of the year?
Oh, yes.
In terms of like, in terms of like hearts and minds,
has
like
it been?
mind share?
Yeah.
Yes.
Totally.
Okay,
totally.
100%.
I feel like it just feels like it's kind of fallen
Oh, not
away.
for me. I'm with you. Not for me at all.
Like, I don't see people talking about it. And I guess at this point, like,
I
what's
do.
to talk
I do,
about? Like,
yeah.
people are
Yeah.
just gonna go play Overwatch.
In my mind, it is this year's Rocket League.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like
yes.
occupies the same sort of
sure.
area.
I could see that.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah,
because
I think it's
that's the
much
thing.
bigger than
I
that.
just, like it came and was really big, and then I stopped playing it, but I still saw a ton of people talking about it, and now it's just like the only time it comes up is when someone has discovered for the first time that they're making Overwatch porn, and you just go like, yeah, of course they are. Like, what?
Sure.
I mean,
it's been
Source Filmmaker is a wonderful, magical thing.
6 months.
Yeah, was
Almost.
it March?
Like April. I
April?
think.
Yeah.
April, Mayish.
Sounds
Yeah,
about right.
even that, like the tail on it was pretty long.
I mean, the people that
even if
play
it's
it
fallen off.
play the hell out of
Yeah,
it. Like I
yeah.
follow a bunch of people on Twitter that are always playing it.
Yeah,
Like,
okay, yeah.
like,
It's
until we
still-
started
still
this Halo
pretty huge.
thing, I was playing it nightly.
Yeah, okay.
I still see
Yeah.
people
As
talking
recently as a
about it.
month ago.
I still see people talking about it. People still
Yeah.
care when characters come out and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I'm far from done with Overwatch. I'll put a lot more time into that. So yeah, for me, it's borderline the biggest game of the year.
I figured that was the case. It seemed like a lot of the talk around it dried up, so I just wasn't sure where you guys were at on it.
No, but I think the people that are enthusiastic about Overwatch are still very enthusiastic about Overwatch. So yeah, it's weird with Paladins because there were so many things I saw in the time I played where it's just like, okay, they're taking that. Oh, they're taking this. Oh, okay, there's that.
Yeah, my eyes rolled down a considerable amount of times, but at the same time, like you said, it's a free to play game.
Wait,
and they've got
is
like
it?
Yeah, it's free.
yeah,
There's like a $15 like founders pack.
Oh, I
thing.
thought there was only the $15 buy-in.
No,
I thought-
no.
Oh,
You
I
can
did
play
not
free.
realize it was a free. Okay,
free to play. And
Oh,
I don't know
that-
if they do rotate, but actually, I bought that founders pack because you know
Yeah.
what? I mean, you're getting all the characters, getting a bunch of card packs and shit like that. So it's like
Also, 15, not a lot for
Yeah.
a well-made multiplayer game. Like,
Yeah.
that's
and I
that
don't,
kind of changes the conversation.
I
don't
downloaded it and didn't have a ton of time to play it, and then when I launched it and said like, you got to go create another account.
Yeah,
like,
high res account or
I'm
whatever.
gonna look at this some other day. And
I think I had one already. Like from
Yeah,
Smite or
surely
whatever,
from yes, I do have one from Smite.
See?
Maybe Tribes. I can't remember. If I-
Oh, you know what? Yeah, mine was.
Yeah.
Oh, it's those
Goes back to
people.
yeah. They made Tribes Ascend,
Okay.
Smite, Global Agenda.
High res.
Just assumed this came from China.
No,
It'll probably do pretty well in China.
I made the same mistake last.
I don't know
week.
how many skeletons are in there.
None.
Wait and see. Okay, no skeletons.
No,
All
I
right,
mean,
perfect.
It's approved.
Yeah.
If it's if you're being smart about
Yeah.
globally releasing your game, you don't put any skeletons in there.
weird.
Also, before I'm done talking, I just want to say that John Wick is an incredible movie, and I cannot give a stronger endorsement to that movie.
I really
Has
got-
anyone here seen it?
Yes.
Okay, Jeff, have you seen it?
No,
Okay.
I meant to. It's,
If anyone cares, skip the next 60 seconds.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. I do want to see it. Don't
Okay, I
spoil
won't
it.
give any big spoilers.
It sounds like it's just like,
Just
hey, here's
your
this,
notary
here's this
stamp on
revenge
it.
tale. He's gonna murder a bunch of people.
He murders everyone in that movie.
Yeah.
The only guy he spares is Kevin Nash.
Okay, good. And he's got a puppy in the beginning, right?
He does
And
have a
something
puppy in the
happens to
beginning.
that puppy, and
Yeah.
that
I
fucking
don't want to
sets
say
a-
anything.
It's in the trailer, I think.
Yeah, I mean that's,
So-
that's
Okay.
That's
If it's in the
having
trailer-
not seen the movie, all I know about it is someone kills the man's dog and he kills everyone.
Wait,
Well, then
Is
that's the only spoiler.
Is that the impetus for his revenge?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
like you're,
his-
you're talking about it like this. It's this amazing movie, but
Okay.
it seems
And
like
that dog
it's
is fucking
amazing because
adorable.
it is
Like,
just
I
this
wanted to
very
murder
thin
people.
plot
That's so awesome.
murder man movie.
It knows what it is.
Yeah.
He has a wife who's sick and she died. This is the first 2 minutes of the movie.
Whatever, that dog.
Wife dies and she gives him a dog as like a dying
Yeah.
thing. It's like, hey, here's a dog so you can know what love is. And then these fucking assholes from Game of Thrones show up.
Who the fuck kills
Theon
the
Greyjoy.
dog?
Theon Greyjoy shows up because he wants Keanu Reeves' car, so he breaks into his house, fucking kills his dog, beats the shit out of Keanu Reeves with a baseball bat, steals his cool car, and then it turns out that Keanu Reeves is like the biggest badass of all time. He murders everyone. Like, okay, in most action movies, they'll like shoot a guy in the leg or chest and they'll fall down and you'll move on to the next guy. Reeves, John Wick, does that. He'll shoot a guy in the chest, but then he'll just run up and just shoot him in the head 18 times before he moves on to the next guy. He shoots so many fucking dudes in the head. It's so good. And it's not fancy bullet time CG bullshit. It's just hardcore, like R-rated 80s ass revenge tale, and it nails it.
In fact, they go so far as to be, when they choreograph the gunfights, they go so far as to make sure that he has enough bullets in his magazine to be able to pull off everything that he does. So it's like that accurate.
Oh, you know, there was
Okay.
that. That's cool. There was that like viral clip of Keanu Reeves on a shooting range going
Yes.
around.
Yeah,
training.
that's for John Wick 2,
Oh,
which
is that for
I'm
2?
so excited for now.
He's pulling some shit in that
Did
thing.
he get another
Yeah.
dog? Did he get 2 dogs?
I don't want to spoil the end
There
of the
are
movie.
2 T-Rexes.
I don't want to spoil the end of the movie.
I'm
and
guessing
he's got 2 T-Rexes and 2 cars, but then 2 thugs show up to kill the T-Rexes and the dogs, and then John Wick is angry.
There's also this like weird mythology to that movie that they
with
barely
the coins
touch
and
on.
stuff and the hotel.
That is, that is super interesting.
What is his like occupation before he becomes a
He was the
murder
man
guy?
that you hire if you
Fucking
want to kill the
murderer.
boogeyman.
Oh, wait.
He's not the boogeyman. He's the guy you hire to kill the boogeyman. That's how they describe him.
Is that on his card?
He was like a
or-
mafia hitman dude
Okay.
who got out
Okay.
and went straight, got
Okay.
married and got a house.
Okay.
Wife dies, gets a dog.
Got it.
But then, I guess fuck it about spoiling it now.
What's the spoil?
Once
What's the
his
spoil?
dog dies, he fucking gets a sledgehammer and goes into his garage and beats the concrete away from the floor of his garage because he hid all of his crazy mafia gold currency and a bunch of guns and grenades under there. And so it's just like this whole montage of him hammering his garage floor while the mafia guy is telling his son who killed the dog, like, you don't know what you just fucking did. Like, John Wick got out, now he's going to come
Rad.
back and kill all of us so hard. Like, it makes like movies like Commando look tame as shit.
Wow.
It is
All right.
the most hardcore action movie. It is so fucking awesome.
I'm in.
I understand.
I'm in. I'm
It's a
in.
ringing endorsement.
For 2 years, people have been telling me on Twitter, like, how have you not seen John Wick?
Yeah.
And I saw, like, 10 minutes into the movie, I was like, oh, okay, I get this.
Yeah, I meant to see it.
It's a beautiful film.
Yeah.
Kevin Nash has a Russian accent.
All right. Well,
good one.
my wife's out of town tonight, so maybe I will watch John Wick.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Willem Dafoe, guys from Oz and The Wire, and like the cast is really
you
good.
had me at Kevin Nash with a Russian accent. like stop talking now.
That sounds all right.
It's fucking awesome.
Did you buy it or stream it or?
Yeah, I actually no, I streamed it, but now I'm going to buy it on Blu-ray because I need to
Okay.
support this movie as hard as I possibly can.
Gotcha.
Just go see the next one in the theater.
Oh, yo, trust me, we already have plans.
All right.
Yeah.
Great. Excellent.
God, I was like, the whole movie, I was just laughing at just how it's just like, oh my God, quit shooting him in the head. Like, it's just every 2 seconds.
He's John Wick. That's what he does.
And then he's in Payday 2.
Oh, right.
really?
Right.
Yeah, they put John Wick into Payday 2. It was like a licensed thing they did.
All right.
Yeah.
Sure.
He just kills so many people in that movie. It's so good.
Good old fashioned murder porn.
Totally.
Did you ever see Hardcore Henry?
No.
I mean, if you just want to see like people get murdered in weird, stylish ways. Like,
Does that feel like it's trying too hard though? Because like I saw like
It's
shoot 'em
weird.
up. Okay, here's a good example.
It's not shoot 'em up.
Okay,
It is
Shoot 'em
fucking
up.
Not shoot 'em up.
I saw the trailer for Shoot 'em Up, and I was like, this seems like my kind of movie. But then I saw it, and it was trying too hard to be like, Giamatti's chewing up scenery, and everything's way too wacky, and they've got like bullets in their fingers and lighting them.
It is wacky and weird.
I don't want it
But,
that way.
like-
Like John Wick plays it straight.
Yeah,
like it's fucking ridiculous.
This plays it straight in the context of its own universe, which is fucking super weird. Because by the end of that movie, the main antagonist of that movie might as well be Iori from King of Fighters.
okay.
Okay,
Like
I'm in.
It's he's kind of just
Okay.
Okay.
He's kind of a King of Fighters character.
Okay.
And it's just a really fucking strange concept, and it is all told from this first-person perspective. That
Yeah.
like I'm not going to tell you it's a good movie. I'm not
Okay.
going to sit here and say like, oh, it's incredible, but like it is a spectacle that I'm happy I saw.
Okay.
As that is the last movie, that's the last movie I saw in theaters. The first movie I saw in theaters for about a year. The last movie before that was probably a Fast and Furious movie. That'll probably be the next movie I see in a theater. Will be a Fast and the Furious movie.
Wait, is there one on the docket?
Yeah.
Of course.
I guess there's always one in the docket.
Yeah.
Right?
I think I will call John Wick a good movie. And as the only person in this room with a film studies degree from a major
smart.
American
Yeah,
university,
yeah,
Accredited
I think
hunt.
I can, yeah. I do think it's actually really well made. It knows what it's going for.
You can
Yeah.
notarize that opinion.
Yeah, stamp it. I got it.
Yeah,
All
but Hardcore Henry is just it's a ridiculous spectacle that I appreciated in terms of like every 5 minutes I just kind of found myself going, huh, all right,
Okay. Like in a Crank kind of way?
in a Crank
Okay.
kind of way.
Because I appreciate, I
Yeah.
like Crank. Especially Crank 2.
Yeah.
Those
Yes.
are
There's definitely like
fantastic
the nature of the character and what he needs to stay alive and stuff like that is like kind of Crank-esque.
Well, because Crank was wacky and weird and dumb, but it seemed to kind of know that.
Yeah.
Like Shoot 'em Up seemed like it was also trying to be cool.
Right.
And it was not
yeah,
cool.
Shoot 'em Up very much wanted. Shoot 'em Up felt like a movie that was very much up its own ass.
Yeah, it's like, we're going to play Ace of Spades,
yeah,
and he's going to be going down on
totally.
a rope, spinning around, shooting everyone. Like,
Yeah.
you felt like they thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
But it was
Whereas-
too stupid to be cool.
Yeah, I suspect there are probably some people that thought that Hardcore Henry was very cool, but it's not, but in a way that like I was still able to appreciate. That's not
Okay.
necessarily I'm not giving it some like unqualified recommendation, but I am glad I saw it.
Okay. I also watched Face Off twice in the last week. That's also a good movie, but we don't have to go into that.
All right.
But John Wick, good movie. Cool movie.
All right.
Nails it. Please, for the love of God, watch it.
Dan
if you haven't
Record
seen
And
it.
if we just want
approved.
to talk about
Yeah.
movies, I finally saw Head, the Monkeys movie. That was pretty good.
Like the Monkeys, the band?
Yeah.
Or is it a movie about monkeys?
No, the band.
Okay.
Like from their heyday?
Yeah,
Is it like them trying to do a
sure.
Beatles thing?
Their
Like a Hard
heyday.
Day's Night type of deal?
It's
Brad, it's their heyday.
Jack Nicholson wrote part of it. It's
Okay.
It's some
What?
real
70s Hollywood
it's some
type
real
stuff?
non sequitur kind of out there, spread out. Like you can figure out what they're trying to say if you now when you look at it. But at the time, what it said was, I don't know, we got pretty high and wrote this movie.
Okay.
I liked it a lot.
Sounds about right.
I liked Head a lot.
All right.
I see why people in its time might have thought it was terrible.
Okay.
I didn't know that movie existed.
Yeah,
Huh.
it's fucking
All right. Put that on the list.
sure.
Maybe.
The full movie is on YouTube multiple
Yeah.
times.
Okay.
So
All right.
if you just want to
Says-
fucking
that
watch
probably,
Head,
that probably says
Yeah.
it all.
it's out there.
All right. Jason.
Yo,
Hello.
man, I might need a break after that.
Yeah, that was
That was-
animated.
That was pretty intense.
yeah. You been playing anything?
Yeah, actually,
not
yeah.
previously discussed?
Yeah, I got to go see Dishonored 2.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah.
Played a little bit of
Put up
that.
put up a
So
lengthy block of footage.
yeah, about 50 minutes or so.
Yeah.
We had a limited amount of time there, so I only got to try Corvo. Oh no, Emily. I'm
Emily,
sorry,
yeah.
I did not get to try Corvo, and she's got like some weird shadow powers, which is different than the set of skills that you're gonna get as Corvo. So you get to choose to play as either of those characters.
She's got the darkness snakes.
Yeah,
That's
seriously,
that's
she
a
totally
start
does.
of game decision, right? That's not like a thing where
I
you're switching
believe
out.
so. I think
Okay.
that's what's been communicated, and
Okay.
I don't believe that you can switch back and forth.
Okay.
But you will have some choices to make. You will be sticking with one of those characters, but you can choose whether or not to.
High profile, low profile type
Yeah,
stuff.
that kind of stuff, but also whether or not you even get those shadow powers. Like those
Oh,
are bestowed upon you at some points, and you don't have to go down that road if you don't want to. But from what I played, totally feels like the first game, not necessarily a bad thing. I was a big fan of the first one. There's a good flow to that game. I think once you really get your powers like where you want them to be. Like that game was super fun, and I love the characters. Obviously, the art style. Is something to talk about.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's
nice.
continued in this one. So
It's a nice looking game.
yeah, it's a good looking game
from
for
what I
sure.
saw of it.
They had scaled back the difficulty, so I couldn't get a real good judge of how this game's gonna play. And we only had like a vertical slice of this one mansion, so I don't know how the overall structure. Because in the last game, it was kind of open world-ish.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to kind of where you want, but definitely the it was linear storyline wise.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that all pans out.
Cool. Yeah, that looks promising.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. So I'm excited for Dishonored 2.
Cool.
That's November.
Yeah.
Early
I
November.
think, yeah,
Bring it on.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right.
soon.
Yeah.
it is soon.
Aside from that, I finally picked up Hyper Light Drifter again.
Oh, okay.
Like, this is the third time that I've come back to it.
Are you on PC?
I am on PC.
And are you playing with that new patch? Because I was just
Absolutely.
reading about that this morning and like, holy shit, I didn't know they did that.
Yeah. So
What did they do?
So that game was capped at 30 frames a second when it came out, which a lot of people were kind of unhappy about because it's like a Dark Souls-ish, like super timing based, like.
Well, it was for me. It was less, like the timing than it was like the stuttery background.
Mm-hmm.
I was having a real issue with that. Like I bought it on PC, and I thought there was something fucking maybe weird with like my monitor. So I bought it on console as well, thinking that maybe that'll fix it. I don't know. Did not. As much as I love everything about that game, like the stuttering background is what really kept me from playing it. But now on the PC, they introduced it's not a patch. It's actually like a beta branch right now.
Yeah, you have to opt into it right now.
Yeah, which makes it 60 frames per second and just completely smooths everything out.
Yeah, I was reading like the Steam notice from the developer this morning. Like it's going to roll into like it'll go live on Steam and then also go to the console versions eventually.
Eventually,
They said they had to they spent months since release.
Yeah, like
basically,
150,000 lines of code or something that they had to go back
took
through.
like tons of work to adapt everything in the game.
Yeah,
to
because
to the higher
everything.
frame rate.
Yeah, because it wasn't set for 60 initially, so it was 30. So you got to change the timing on fucking like everything in the game. But let me tell you, my God, this sounds like hyperbole, but it is a night and day difference.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that had pushed me away from playing the game because I saw so many people complain about the feel of it being kind of off.
It was just it was the visual fucking there was something off about the backgrounds to me. But now that I'm into it, like now that barrier is gone, like I am super fucking into the game, and I spent most of my weekend playing it.
Okay.
And so I've gone through like one boss. I'm just about to hit the second one. That game is so fucking good. Like it definitely evokes the old 16-bit style of like RPGs and action stuff, but also has a lot of like modern sensibilities. Whether it be the music and some of the gameplay stuff. I'm super duper in love with it.
Do you like how open-ended it is? It sounded like
Yeah.
you kind of just pick a direction and go.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, they kind of push you like, north, go that way and then just kind of see what happens. And then you can go back or maybe go different routes.
I was just saying, that's kind of it. It's like the 4 cardinal directions. Like that's.
Yeah, initially. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
But you'd have no
from
indication
there.
of like, this way is the easy way or the way you should go first.
Right.
Like it's
Sure.
just kind of, you stumble into stuff, right?
I ended up going left all the way, and I think I beat that boss, and then started going to the right.
See,
and,
I'm saving
Yeah.
left for like the last or something like that because that seemed a little bit tougher. But
trying to remember. Yeah, I think.
yeah,
so.
and I like their like super minimalistic approach to like storytelling. Like there's no actual language, I guess. In some of the menus, of course, but when you go to talk to an NPC and they want to tell you a backstory, it's all done in like pixel art pictures and stuff. And yeah,
like the currency you use to upgrade stuff, you kind of have to decipher it a little. It's not that hard to decipher, but you can spend all the time looking at it, go like, oh, okay, I need more of these to get this.
Yep.
Okay, I think okay.
Exactly, and I think they do a pretty good job of explaining that. But fuck, dude, so good.
That's awesome. Like hearing that makes me actually, because that game always looked cool.
Yeah, and Brad,
that really
in
makes
particular,
me
I think
want
you
to-
really, really appreciate
Yeah,
it. The game's hard, dude. Like it's really, really challenging,
Yeah.
and not necessarily in just like a cheap way. I definitely feel like it's my fault when I lose, and I don't get too frustrated. There's some swearing going on for sure, but I'm happy to jump back into it.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah,
I think that they did that work.
Yeah,
Good on them.
yeah, and that is coming to consoles
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah. Yeah, they
hope
said
soon.
it'll roll out to all platforms
That's great.
eventually. That's great.
Other than that, yeah, a little bit of Forza. Luckily, my son is finally getting into like watching video games now. Because before, whenever I would like put something up on PS4 and he'd hear the cross media bar, he would start yelling at me and get up in my face, and it's like, Daddy, no, you need to pay attention to me. But now he's pretty cool about like sitting on my lap. He likes.
He's
watching
realized
Forza.
you don't care, and
Yeah,
he's
exactly. I finally
made peace
broke
with
him.
it, and
I broke
yeah,
him.
nice.
Yep. He likes watching Forza. He likes watching Hyperlight. Yeah.
Excellent.
Nice.
Yeah.
How's Forza treating you? Dan, you played some Forza.
Real good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got sidelined by Hyperlight Drifter. But, yeah, Forza's fucking great. I'm playing on PC, and I found that I had to just like cap it at 30.
Okay.
And it still looks good. You mentioned that sense of movement. I think they do a fucking fantastic job. In normal racing games, like I gotta have that 60. I gotta have that stable frame rate.
But something where even on the Xbox, like it's really, it conveys the sense of speed really well,
Totally
even
does.
at 30 frames a second.
Yeah,
But
it's pretty amazing.
when you can get 60,
I'm sure,
man.
but I have not been able to get a consistent 60.
really.
And I'm
I
running like a
wonder-
980.
So
pretty
you're
beefy.
on 980.
I have a 1080 and I can't
Yeah.
do it. It seems like it's definitely CPU.
Yeah.
'Cause
It
that's-
absolutely
when
is.
when you
So-
look at their requirements, like my CPU is under even their recommended. Like
You mean not ideal, but
yeah,
recommended
they
is the
don't
new
s-
minimum,
they-
right?
They don't say minimum.
Sure.
They just say recommended and ideal for those things.
Right.
Or at least that's how that page was. I don't know if that's for all their games.
Yeah, I think it has to be CPU related. So I
Yeah.
cracked into it on PC over the weekend on that 1080 that I borrowed from the office that I swear I'm going to bring back any day now.
Yeah.
But I have a 6700K at home.
Okay.
And I could do a solid 60.
Cool.
Right up until the last exhibition event I did before I played like 2 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know what was different, but there were a bunch of cars in it, and it was kind of chugging on
Just
that.
AI, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know. Like that race finally really hit the frame. And I was going through a neighborhood, so there were a lot of houses and stuff around. So maybe it's situational, but I would say 90% of the time I was playing it, I had VSync on and everything.
I would
It was
say
like
it was
like a locked 60.
On my system, I can get 60, maybe 65%.
Oh,
of the
whoa!
time.
I thought you were
know,
even
it's
hitting
not-
it
yeah,
at all.
like
Okay.
it's.
Okay.
I can
Mine's
get
actually
it.
a little bit better. Like I
Really?
think I've got the same processor that we have.
I have a
here at work.
2500K.
Okay.
and
Oh,
it's-
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's well
Okay.
under.
And yeah, it was like 50-60, and like that kind of frame rate is fine.
Yeah.
But when it actually like hitches to the point where it just
Yeah.
like it looks like it stops for a second.
Yeah.
I'm out.
In a game like that, I would rather have a fully stable
Yeah.
30 than like an up and down.
Yeah, the up and down is rough.
It's hard to adapt to.
But I've still been playing that on the PC instead of the Xbox
Yeah.
One.
Are you using that dynamic whatever?
No.
Okay, I'm using that, and that actually does seem to work pretty well for me.
That seemed worse for me.
I had
Huh.
I
Yeah.
had to turn that off and
Because it
fiddle
keeps
with
me
shit.
at 60 most of the time, but then like if I'm going into an area with a lot of shadows or through the woods or something, then it just kind of like it seems to be kind of a seamless like okay, I can tell it's not 60 right now, but it's not like all of a sudden it's chugging. So like
I don't think it's dynamically changing the settings. I think it's like
I thought it was supposed to like depending on what was going on screen change like the level
Really?
of detail and stuff like that to help it run.
That seems
better.
like what it's supposed to do, but
Really?
in my experience, it didn't seem to actually do that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I did the advanced options thing first, where I just kind of set everything to what I wanted it to be.
Right.
And that was wildly inconsistent when I was actually playing the game. Then I turned that off, turned the dynamic thing on, and that actually did help quite a bit.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll be able to patch it. It just seems like a case where maybe that engine is just optimized for 30, and it's just easier for them to build around that. And I wonder how much more work they'll do.
Yeah.
I remember hearing that Forza 6 Apex thing launched rough and got a lot better.
Okay.
So
They did it in Hyper Light Drifter.
right,
They should be able to do it
exactly,
easy.
exactly.
All games are the same.
But also, it's just one of those things that kind of underscores the as I'm continuing to pick out PC parts, like it's definitely feels more and more like the right time now that we're starting to see games that are like hitting me on the CPU end.
Yep.
Or where that's the deficiency. Now that I went and bought a 1080.
Yeah, but it's a bit of a bummer because this is I think like the big first play anywhere.
Well,
Essentially. I mean
Recore
they've
was
had
technically the first one.
Yeah, I guess.
Then
but-
Quantum Break was sort of a half step.
Quantum Break and then
Recore
kind of
for
Recore,
real.
which was it wasn't really marketed that well.
Forza
So
is
this
the first
seems like
like
the first big one.
marquee.
Yeah.
I hate to say quality product, but like it definitely seems like the first one
Yep.
that everybody can agree is like this is a great game that is worth your time. That Play Anywhere stuff still seems to be going pretty well.
Yeah.
With the exception of the fucking achievements not showing
Oh,
up, which
yeah.
is the dumbest thing for me to get upset about.
That's got to be some setting because
Is it-
it's
is
still
it-
working perfectly fine with me.
Yeah, so me and
Same here.
Jeff,
Like I don't get any notifications
Yeah.
on the PC
Weird.
for
Zero.
achievements.
the Wordament is the only game on Windows 10 that
I
has
used to get them,
ever
but
given me
I-
achievement notifications.
I get them from Forza, and then when I'm done playing Halo and I go back to my PC, I get the achievements for the Xbox.
We're getting
I don't
the
get that. I don't
achievements.
get
that.
Right. Those-
Yeah, I
they're
know, but I mean,
unlocking.
I'm
They
getting
just
the
don't-
notification.
Is it just a Windows 10 notification?
Bottom right,
just
little
a little-
rectangle.
Yes,
a little
that's how
rectangle?
achievements show on Windows 10.
Okay.
is in that notification
Okay.
center.
Mhm.
And I used to get them, but I
Yeah.
don't know. I went and looked, and the areas where it should be turned on, it is turned
Yeah,
on.
I've got every notification setting enabled in Windows 10 I can find.
Yeah, I'm getting
and in the
breaking
Xbox app.
news stories,
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I get
don't
all
like.
kinds of
can't
other
get that app to
notifications.
shut up.
But I get like Forza notifications saying like, "Hey, this person in your club has beaten your time." So I'm getting Forza notifications,
Oh,
but
weird.
not achievement
Huh.
stuff.
Ask
Weird.
Cortana. You'll get it figured out.
I'm sure she
I
can
have
just...
Cortana turned off.
Yes.
Lucky
so,
you.
So do I.
Lucky you.
It's in the settings.
If you turned Cortana off before the anniversary
I
update
did.
came out, it stayed off.
Wait,
Mine went back on.
can you
Yeah,
no
mine
longer
did
turn
too.
it off?
You can, but it is not as easy.
Isn't it like a registry thing or something?
something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
There's
terrible.
not a setting where
It was
turn off.
super hard to turn it off on the Xbox One as well. Like there is an option you can toggle
right.
to turn it off on the
I
Xbox
have it
One,
turned
but,
off there,
but
yeah.
the wording on that option has nothing to do with disabling
Right.
Cortana.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's something about like it's you're basically turning off like allow Microsoft to collect voice and usage data
Right.
or something like that. And if you
Oh.
turn that off,
I have it turned off because I don't have a microphone hooked up to that Xbox. So fucking
I turned it off because it works barely at all compared to the old. Like at least the old Xbox,
yeah.
like Xbox Go To whatever, like
Yeah.
that stuff worked reliably, even though it was very limited. Like the Cortana stuff, like they made a big deal out of like, oh, it does natural language now. Just like say it how you would
It's like,
say
oh,
it.
No, it doesn't.
Well, theoretically it would, but every time I would say something, it would pop up the like thrashing, like we're hitting the internet to try to figure out what you said.
Oh yeah.
And it would take like 10 seconds, and then maybe it would work at the end of that.
Cool.
So I was just like, nope, I'm just not going to use that. Hopefully it'll get better. But,
It'll get better someday.
Drew,
Someday.
Hi.
did you play anything besides airplanes?
Just airplanes and Doom is
Okay.
been what I'm
Or-
doing.
Oh, you bought Doom on the console, right?
Console,
Just
right?
The PS4 version
Xbox?
of Doom.
Or-
Oh, PS4.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good version.
Yeah.
That's mainly the one I reviewed.
Is it still super cheap? Do you know?
I don't know if that was a permanent price
I think
drop.
I looked it
Okay,
up kind
'cause
of recently.
That's what I
and
got it for.
Was it 30 or was it all the
It
way
was
down
20.
to 20?
It was 20.
Oh my god.
I almost went and bought the Xbox version when it hit 20.
That game's great.
Should just have it on every platform.
The game is really good.
Really
Yes.
good. How far in are you?
Not very, just
Yeah.
a few hours.
Okay.
But man, it like just the harmony of moving and shooting and using everything at your disposal and like
They
Just
struck such a good
perfect
balance.
It
on
all
that
it
game.
all feels so well thought out.
Yeah.
Well designed, just elegantly put together.
no, I'm kind of late to the party here. But
No,
I wish the
I'm glad you're here.
multiplayer was better.
Sure.
Yeah.
There are things
yeah.
about that movement
I
and that
forgot
feel.
it had multiplayer.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are things about the way the single player feels and stuff like that that seems like it would translate really well into a multiplayer setting, but
I mean,
Yeah,
it was a
this-
different team. Like,
yeah,
It's a different
the,
thing.
The thing they built is it's just not that interesting. The
I
Snap Map multiplayer seems like it's got more potential in a way.
filled up my damn PS4 hard drive The 2 terabyte.
The 2 terabyte
somehow managed to fill up a 2 terabyte. I mean, but I had
my 1 terabyte is just about full most of the time now.
I mean, but I like literally went and installed everything I had when I got that hard drive.
Same here.
That's insane. Like I'm literally, I just did that with my Xbox One, and that's every backwards compatible. Like I have so many.
I have
of those.
a 2 terabyte external drive for the Xbox One, and I just have everything installed on that.
But I mean, when I got that 2 terabyte, I went back and like got all the launched PS4 games and was like, I'll put in Assassin's Creed 4 and here's
I did that too. I didn't put discs in.
I was like, I'm going to install everything I have just so I have it all at all times. And then at a certain point, I was like, oh wait,
Except
that was 300 gig of stuff.
It doesn't auto patch games that you haven't played recently.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that why that happens?
If the game is not in your like initial bar, it won't.
Wait, surely
that's
it
what I
goes
think
further
it
back
is.
than that.
Maybe it does, but that's my general feeling is that if it's not in that bar, it doesn't auto patch.
Okay, because I had to rebuild the database on mine at a certain point for I forget what happened, but apparently that trips the like check for updates on like every game.
Yeah.
Because I rebuilt the database and rebooted and it added like 30 patches to my download. I didn't realize it worked that way. Anyway, the whole reason I bring that up is that like I ran out of space and I was like, well, it's.
I think Xbox One is the same way now too, because if you look in the Games and Apps app. It now has a ready for update setting, and you can go manually start updates there.
Yes.
So it's not just automatically downloading that for everything you have. I assume that's just a bandwidth thing of like, hey, we don't want to spend the money sending you this patch because you don't play this game anyway.
Let's not push all these updates if we don't have to.
Yeah.
Anyway, the whole point of bringing that up is that I had to delete Doom from my PS4. And I was just looking at it, and I was going like, because I got the platinum. I literally did everything there is to do in that game. I got every collectible, every challenge. Like
and if you're going to play it again, you're probably going to play it on PC.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Okay. Like when I get my own new video card, I'm going to play through it on PC. So, but yeah, like just the idea that like, well, yeah, they're putting out stuff for the multiplayer. Like they are updating this game, but it's not really worth keeping it around.
Like when they put out that first round of DLC for Doom, I went and played some of it just to see what it was, and it was just like, oh, I don't want more armor shaders, and like this gun seems lame.
Yeah, like they're adding some stuff. Like they added a new monster to the like the things you can morph into and stuff like that. But it's just not.
But I think the whole morph into a monster thing is dumb and a lame thing about that game. So it's just like
that stuff is okay, but not amazing. But just the idea that you would delete Doom at all was kind of a bummer to me.
When I went to install Modern Warfare Remastered, that was when I hit my limit again because I'd been installing games like mad lately because we've got a lot of stuff coming in. And so I just went through and made a sweep and like, okay, I'm deleting Bloodborne, and like I deleted like 20 games. I was just like, there's no way I'm ever gonna play this. I left PSO 2 installed just in case.
Just in case.
Yeah, I want to play that in Japanese on a controller, which is 0 for 2 on ways I want to play that game.
Yeah.
Are they doing 4 terabyte laptop drives yet?
I'm
thinking maybe when I get a Pro, I might step up to 4.
I don't know.
You're going to have to put a new hard drive in it anyway, right?
It comes with 1, right?
Yeah, fuck that.
I've got a 1 in my PS4 right now, and it's fine. I just don't care.
Yeah.
Same here.
But yeah, I wonder them big textures.
Yeah,
and take up more space.
It's true.
Like download sizes for games have been crazy. Like
they're getting
Forza is like
crazy.
fucking 80 gigs. Or
yeah, like Doom was
right?
pushing 70 when I deleted it with all the stuff they added to it.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I was gonna say to 60.
Also, I have like 50 gig of game captures and shit like that.
Really?
Like stuff that's just automatically recorded.
It's like
you took
I
yourself.
don't think the PS4 ever automatically records anything.
Maybe not video, but it takes screenshots on the.
It does screenshots.
Yeah.
I did have like 10 gig of screenshots or something, but.
Damn.
Just video after video of shit that I had recorded for whatever reason. Anyway, video games.
Yeah.
Sure.
Finish Doom.
Okay.
Seriously.
All right. Good. We'll confer in a future date.
I'm also dipping back into Picross every
nice.
Yes.
Yes.
I need to charge my 3DS back up so I can play some more of that, and then we got a copy of that River City Rumble.
Oh, really?
It is. We got a copy of that, so I want to play that.
Yeah, I want to check that out
curious,
too.
I'm curious.
Why didn't they send the goddamn keychain? Oh, I'm so mad about that.
Yeah.
The what?
There's a cool ass keychain.
I don't know.
For that game?
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's like a pre-order bonus.
Huh.
I just wanted that
because we didn't pre-order the game.
Yeah, I suppose. Still.
All right, that's a lot of video games. Stuff's happening.
And there are
coming
more.
out.
Yeah.
We're playing shit around the clock right now. It's a crazy time of year. Let's take one more quick break, and then we'll come back with news and emails.
Razors.
Razors?
They're crazy.
Are they?
Crazy razors.
Crazy like blade,
crazy like a razor. That's what they say.
That's the saying, right?
Yeah, that is the saying. I sell T-shirts that say that exact thing.
Down by the boardwalk.
Exactly. You can get them 2 for $10. It's a great deal. But not as great as these deals you can get on these razors from Dollar Shave Club.
Ooh.
Exactly.
Some sharp deals?
Yes, some very, razor blade sharp, son. That's what these deals are like.
Slash these prices.
Uh-huh. How about we slash these prices all the way to free?
Hey, you don't have to cut your budget to get a close shave.
That's right. You can get 1 month of the Dollar Shave Club for free. You just pay the shipping. It's a few bucks, but it's free.
Whoever said there's no such thing as a free razor?
I don't know. I have not seen T-shirts that say that, so I can't tell you one way or the other. You can join today by going to dollarshaveclub.com/bombcast. And yeah, you'll get a free month of razors. And then if you stay on, they'll send you razors every month. No more going out to the store and having them unlock the weird thing to get the blades. It's razor blades in the mail at a fraction of the price as some of those so-called premium razors. And you can just change the razors out whenever you like.
Yeah, it's more time you can spend shaving.
Exactly. Some nice, close shaves. Head over to dollarshaveclub.com/bombcast and get it going now.
Jason, very briefly.
Yeah.
Over the break, you delivered a shocking revelation.
What?
About Darkest Dungeon.
It's out again.
Yeah, it did
on
come
consoles.
out. Yeah, we played some of the PS4 version on UPS.
Yeah, and you're starting to get back into it.
Well, I had never really gotten into it.
Okay.
I played enough of it when it first went early access just to cover it or whatever, I think.
Sure. A lot of changes since then.
And
yeah,
it was one
a
of
lot
those
of new characters.
It was one of those like,
I'm
I'm going to wait till this is done, and then
they
just
made it a little easier too. But no, I played a little bit of that over the weekend as well, and I've been kind of like, I played the early access version, so it's been months since I've actually touched it, and I was kind of holding out for the Vita version because I thought it would be like,
great Vita game
for the Vita, like touchscreen controls and stuff like that. I started off on the controller, like at the PS4 version, and like it's really, really hard to start navigate that. And it's like I've got to learn a whole bunch of fucking shortcuts.
It is very like arbitrary shortcuts to everything. Like you got to know like hold down R2 and then hit square and just
and like equipping trinkets. Like you've got to have your character selected, then you've got to pull it up on R2 and then hit the trinkets again. I
never figured out. I could never tell if my trinkets were equipped or not.
Right.
Story of my life, man.
They're probably not.
Okay.
But
like once
I don't
want to
call it a mess.
It's not a mess because like once you learn it, you can. Whip, by the end of Saturday morning, when I was playing a bunch more of it, I was kind of flying through most of it. But there is a learning curve to navigating that thing with a controller.
Totally. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to play it on the Vita. They've got to have some cool touch control stuff. Like it seems well suited for that, right? I don't think there's any touch controls.
Man, it seemed heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It seemed like a great Vita game.
That
was probably still would be a great Vita game.
And they don't really scale the UI either, so the text is super small, and unless you know exactly what you're looking at, I got my hopes up unnecessarily.
That's a shame.
That is kind of a shame.
That's unfortunate.
But if that's PS4 is the only way that you can play it, then totally.
Yeah, it works.
That game's real good.
Yeah, yes, the game itself is freaking awesome. I don't think I've ever announced anything, but it seems like iPad or a tablet would be like the ultimate way to play that game if they ever got around to doing it.
That could be cool.
Just a bunch of touch controls all over everything.
Sure. I think it would totally work.
All right. Let's move into the news.
Okay.
That's the news music. That means it's time to read some headlines. PlayStation VR. Perhaps you've heard of it.
That's coming out soon, too.
It's like a week and change out.
Yep.
Shit.
It's a virtual reality headset.
Okay.
For the PlayStation
HMD.
4. Yes,
Gotcha.
It's a head-mounted display. It's for the PlayStation 4. They put up a FAQ. Like, remember when the Pro came out and they put up this like comprehensive list of kind of
Here's
technical.
what the Pro can do.
Yeah. So they basically did something similar for the PSVR, which is out a week from this Thursday. A couple of interesting tidbits came out of that stuff that people were not super pleased about.
Yeah, I saw one of these and it just seemed like, man, you really should have planned differently around this stuff.
Yeah, this one was kind of burning up the blog headlinosphere yesterday.
Yes, the blog headlinosphere. That's what everyone calls it.
when this fact came out. But so effectively, they've got the Pro coming out. They are pushing 4K and especially HDR stuff.
Yeah,
it's not even limited to the Pro. I mean, the existing PS4 has now been updated to do HDR.
Right.
They had a press conference.
Yeah. On HDR capable TVs. Like that seems like a big part of their initiative.
Yeah.
Moving into the future.
To make the lighting more lighting-y.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Saturate that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But it turns out the breakout box that the PSVR has to go through to get to your TV, so it comes out of the PS4,
all kinds of wires
goes
and
into a
dongles.
box,
Yeah.
headset plugs into that.
HDMI goes through.
Yes. It's effectively, in terms of getting to your TV, it's a pass-through. It's
Yeah.
a box that passes through to the television.
It's a voodoo.
Yes, that's
card.
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Much like the Voodoo, there is a quality hit when you go through that pass-through, in that this box does not pass through the HDR stuff.
Yeah.
What?
So it will do 4K. It'll push through the 4K resolution. It will not pass through the HDR signal.
So you'd have to unhook.
Yes. So if
if you want to do HDR, you have to unhook the PlayStation VR
if
stuff.
you go get a fancy new 4K
That.
HDR enabled TV and you have both of these things,
Fuck.
As a big spender might be want
Right.
to
Yes.
do.
Yeah.
presumably you would be a person who would be interested in both of those things.
What the hell?
So yeah, if you want the full range of awesomeness coming out of the new 4K and HDR stuff, you will have to juggle HDMI cables around every time you are either doing VR or on your TV, which doesn't seem terribly forward thinking.
No, not at all.
No.
There's a miscommunication.
No, absolutely
breakdown.
not. Like you have to wonder how much, like if there was just a cost increase for those breakout boxes to get the HDR through.
I guess
that's like a bandwidth thing at some point,
Sure,
right?
okay,
Yeah.
sure.
So
yeah, like
maybe
what,
they would have to use higher quality
Right.
HDMI
it's like what
guts
I
in
think
that thing.
It's a version thing, right? Isn't it that how they specify? Like if it's HDMI 2.0, it'll do this and this or
fast
whatever.
HDMI,
Right.
whatever it is. Yeah.
I guess
monster
I guess
cables.
so.
This seems like something that could have been done, but probably would have been more
sure.
expensive to do.
Sure.
But they've had the time to know.
yeah,
wow.
like
So
even
maybe they will then go on to sell an HDR
don't say
breakout
that.
box
How the fuck?
at a later
No.
date when the costs have come
Are
down.
you kidding?
You have to imagine that this is like
How do you brand that?
that. This is well, you brand it as like,
How do you,
hey,
like,
we've
spin that?
How do you put
we've
that in
replaced
stores?
Just a new version of the VR package.
Right. You
Not-
don't brand
well,
it. You
that would be
quietly
even-
do it and fucking don't look back.
That's even worse because if
and
the
just-
only way to get it is to go out and buy another
and
headset.
then maybe message to people like, if you send in your break-in out box, we'll
yes.
send you
If
a
they
new
if they
one.
did a replacement program that made
Yeah.
it easy and cheap for people to do, then fine.
I honestly, if this is the route they go down, which who knows, they probably won't because that would be too smart. They should just do it for free.
Yeah, totally. Like all this stuff should work together. Like they've got two parallel.
If you think about it
initiatives.
in the terms of like, okay, you're one of our best consumers. You are using the HDR features on our console,
right.
and you bought a PlayStation
Yeah.
VR.
You bought all our stuff.
The least we can do is upgrade your breakout box.
Make it sweet. Yes.
Who knows how that'll go?
Yeah.
All this stuff. Yeah, but the PlayStation VR seems like it was built to be as inexpensive as they could probably get it.
Right.
And we'll see how when it comes out and people start tearing it down. We'll see what's in there.
See
but,
what's actually in it.
But it just seems like hey, this uses the camera, it uses move controllers. Like they went with their existing tech wherever they could.
Established
Right?
technology.
So,
Yes. Indeed.
so I imagine it's probably just a factor of like we want this thing to be as cheap as we can get it.
Yeah.
Because
soon as
we
possible, I
need
guess.
to get people
Jeez.
to buy it, and this is the only way.
No.
But then, as a result of doing that, this cut corner will now be a hassle for people.
I saw some people out there looking into like, maybe there's some splitters out there that'll pass this stuff along, so you could just put the splitter in that chain and
Yeah.
it won't be a problem. But I didn't see anybody come up with anything definitive yet.
If that splitter would strip HDCP, possibly.
Right. But then you have to worry about like
You would have to go to two separate inputs on your TV at that point.
Would you?
Because you would have to.
Yeah.
You would have to have.
Oh,
your,
you're right,
your-
'cause-
your plus VR and
Yeah.
minus VR.
Yeah.
That would be less of a
no,
hassle.
where would you- where would you split it?
The splitter would go into the breakout box
Right.
and straight.
You would
into-
never have to come out of your breakout box because you had a separate input.
When you're doing VR.
Yeah, you would lose the social screen for VR. If you did
I
that,
guess.
right? Because if you're not coming out of the breakout box into the TV, you don't get the TV display when you're using the
right.
headset.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah,
Which
that's
is-
why that box
Which
exists.
is technically possible if you don't have anybody else there who wants to see what you're doing and you're happy with just having the headset.
I
working,
wonder, but it also may be the case that like the breakout box might throw an error message
Yeah,
if it's
maybe,
not
yeah,
sending
maybe.
to a TV.
Sure.
It might throw up and go like, no, you need to hook these cables up, son.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Handshaking, the future.
Yeah.
Everyone loves it.
So instead of a splitter, you'd probably want to go with an actual switch that is 4K capable with
Yeah.
HDR and removes HDCP.
Then you got to worry about, is it going to introduce any latency at all? Because latency is a complete killer for VR.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
it's just. I mean,
That's
this
the
is,
thing I've been thinking about as I start thinking about buying a Vive. We talked about this last week.
no,
Like,
me and you talked about
okay.
this in the office. So.
because now I'm thinking that I don't want to build I don't want to have a VR PC and a PC.
Yes, that is.
And now I'm thinking like I saw a list of like people are testing cables to extend the Vive.
Awesome.
And they've got 50 footers, USB 3 and HDMI that they're saying will work with the Vive.
Okay.
Or the users have tested and said, these cables, yes, these cables, no. And yeah, it's the same deal. It's like, well, am I going to introduce latency? Is this going to be like flickery or weird? And it sounds like that's the stuff they've had to test for. Because sometimes you get a cable that's long enough and it's rated to be fast, and you plug it in, it's just like, green. Everything's just green. We don't know why. It's just flickery green.
Yep.
So I think that's the way I'm going to go if I end up buying a Vive.
Any word on like the power cable situation? Because that's
so you don't extend from. You extend on the other end of the breakout box. So you put the breakout box at the other end of the extension. You don't extend out of the breakout box.
Okay.
For the Vive.
Okay.
You put that box
closer to
the headset.
Right. Closer to you.
Yeah.
Put it on your fucking belt. Something like that.
I guess you could. Yeah.
I've been doing it that way for years. Just I've got a 30-foot HDMI cable. I just run down the hall from my PC to my TV when I feel like playing something on the TV. Like it's a little unsightly, but
the 30-foot in your face Jesse James special, indeed.
Basically. But
I don't know if it's
a hell of a lot cheaper than building a second PC.
Yeah. I'm running just a straight HDMI. I was using like Steam Link for games.
Yeah.
And that's been actually working out pretty well. But like now, whenever I switch over to the PC, I just do the external monitor, and it'll scale up the UI automatically because it senses that it's going to a TV.
Huh.
It's great.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
That sounds great for Steam. Although, like Patrick was telling me recently, none of that Play Anywhere Xbox stuff works with Steam Link.
Oh, really?
You can't get.
Yeah, I suppose not.
Can't get any of those Windows 10 games to stream.
Yeah, they don't support overlays.
Oh, yeah, that's actually why I ran that HDMI
So
cable.
yeah, there are still some limitations there, but don't build a second PC if you can avoid it.
Well, yeah, because originally I was going to have a second PC for Plex stuff, and they are now going to start beta testing an Amazon Cloud feature that doesn't require you to run a server anymore. So now I'm thinking like, oh, great, I'll just pay that. And
man, that's a lot of media to upload, though.
Yeah, just do it once.
Yeah,
be done with it.
I suppose.
How much space do you get?
Unlimited. Amazon Cloud is $60 a year for whatevs.
Jeez, is
really
the Plex service more on top of that, or?
It doesn't seem like it is. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know how that's going to work. So it's a beta test thing that they're doing. Maybe it's something that'll only work for Plex Pass subscribers. So they already do have a monetization path in Plex.
So $5 a month, and the core of this is what? Just to be able to watch any of your media anywhere?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's like running your own cloud. You'll transcode to different devices, all that sort of stuff. And so in its current form, you run a server that does all that transcoding and pipes the media wherever you want.
But then you have to send it out from your house to wherever. So
which I can do fine. That's not a problem.
But you have to make sure that PC is on.
Yes.
To do that.
So that's at some point, I'm probably spending more than $60 a year in electricity.
Yeah. When I was looking into using my old i7 and turning that thing into a router, and then I started looking at like, well, that's going to cost like $120 a year in electricity or something like that.
Oh, really? Wow.
And it's like, that is not insignificant at that point. Plus, it's just kind of irresponsible.
Yeah.
Seems fun though.
Yeah. Use the cloud. It's good for something.
That's what it's there for.
Another little
Crackdown
tidbit.
3.
Yes. Maybe someday. Polygon pulled another little tidbit out of that FAQ. It's not nearly as big a deal, but still kind of a big... it's another case, really, of like their stuff not quite working right together. The 3D audio stuff that they've been touting, which I guess all the VR headsets do in some way, where it's, it's just the positional stuff as you're moving your head around and stuff sounds like it's behind you and like through headphones and everything. That will only work on the PSVR with headphones that are plugged into the little breakout chain that comes out of it. So you need wired headphones that are plugged into the headset.
So like if you have the Sony wireless headphones, it will not work with
this Polygon article specifically mentions the Pulse headset that Sony put out.
Man, fuck that.
The Sony Pulse wireless, because it connects straight to the PS4 with a wireless signal.
Yeah.
So it can't get any of that 3D audio stuff apparently that way.
I guess maybe that's coming through the breakout box. Maybe they handle audio processing there.
So it sounds like it has to come through that stuff.
Which is weird because the Pulse has like a bunch of different profiles for like 3D positional audio.
And I want to say, I may be wrong, but because they're putting out a new version of the camera along with all this stuff. I mean,
I thought it was just like
it's the same. It's the same camera. It's just a restyling, redesign.
Sure.
Just the look of it, but I feel like the Pulse was also included in that. It was right after the Pro thing. They put out shots of like, here's what the new camera looks like, and I'd swear I saw there was a new model of Pulse in there too.
I don't know.
So like to have all that stuff positioned side by side and like not have it all actually work together properly.
I don't use them much anymore, but I have those headphones. I was thinking
pretty
like,
good.
oh, that'd be a really handy way. With the exception of like with PlayStation VR, at some point you're going to run out of USB ports. That seemed like it would be a pretty okay way to do stuff.
Yeah, but you'll be giving up audio features to do that.
Wired headphones, it is.
Yeah, I always use wired plugged into controllers anyway at this point.
Oh, really?
So I have I use A40s that I like better than any wireless headset, and the controller audio is good.
It's all
No?
right. It's all right. No,
Yeah.
it's all right. It's all right.
Not your favorite.
It's all right.
It's good enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, PSVR out next week. Some stuff to be aware of.
Yeah, we'll have more to say about the PlayStation VR in the near future.
Remember Fig? Anybody?
Yeah.
They're those things where like the wasp babies
inside.
pollinate them and then it grows around the wasp and then you eat the wasp?
The Newtons are delicious.
Yes, they are quite good.
Yeah, and they're fruits, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
filled with bugs.
They're fruit and cake
Well,
Okay.
and wasps.
Yeah.
Don't like Fig Newtons. Never have.
Fig Newts are good.
I
Don't like Fruit Newtons.
I used to like them. I've not eaten one since we
Since
talked about
learning.
that like 2 years ago or whatever.
And it's just extra protein.
Yeah, it was just bugs.
It's not going to kill you.
I'm not going to eat bugs.
If the bugs were bad for you, they wouldn't sell. They wouldn't be allowed to
I'm
sell
sure
it.
they're healthy. I'm
Also,
sure
I
they're
thought-
not going to kill you, but
I thought I saw that the wasp like dissolves in there anyway.
I don't care.
I thought it
I
breaks,
don't want
I thought
any
it breaks
wasp
down
in the food
wasp.
I eat. I don't care.
John Wick would
You're going to
eat a
be
bug.
really bummed out when you hear about how all other stuff is fertilized.
If I don't know, hey, before I knew about the wasp thing, I really enjoyed those Fig Newtons.
Ignorance
Do you
is
know how
bliss.
much shit is used to grow food?
It's cow
Literal
shit.
shit?
It's fertilizer. Yeah, I know what that is. Yeah, that's fine.
Where do you think that?
But that's fine.
They
but
do
like
some
a wasp that
magic
dissolves.
science farming stuff, and then it's not. You're not eating
where
poop.
do you think?
I've never eaten
Where do you think
poop.
it goes?
What?
Where do you think it goes?
The
They
plants,
wash it off
the
or
plants
something.
suck the shit up and use the nutrients.
Yeah, but like if I'm eating like a bag of,
Everything
Doritos
is made
or some
of
green
shit.
beans, it doesn't have shit on it. I've never eatten shit.
It's got
I've
shit
never
in
ingested
it.
shit
The
in my
shit
life.
is in the Doritos.
Shit flavored Doritos.
They wash it off.
Nacho cheesy-est. They don't wash it off because it's on the inside.
Before they make the thing that has the
building
inside
blocks of the corn.
of the corn, but they use corn syrup to make stuff. The syrup's inside corn.
You're drinking shit.
No, I've never drank or eaten shit in my life.
That is also completely not true. You have 100% had feces in your mouth.
No.
You ever smelled a fart?
Yeah.
poop particles.
Poop particles in your mouth.
I'll have to look into the science. on
Going
that
down
one.
your body.
I saw the Mythbusters where they tried to see if there was poop on the toothbrush, and then they were like, "No, that's fine."
You have undoubtedly consumed water at some point that used to be pee.
Like a water world thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
They actually have those things?
I've
Oh, yeah,
also
dude.
farted
Really?
in your
Yeah.
water bottle countless times.
Oh,
That's how the space station works.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who's fucking with me or not right now.
They drink their pee on the space station.
Oh, they do?
There's no water there.
Oh, yeah, it's space.
The space.
Fig is also a crowdfunding platform.
That's
Oh.
right. That's right. That's right.
Allows regular people like you now to invest in the projects that are being posted there.
Not me, man.
That's,
You're not into
that's
this.
smart.
Yeah, Fig finally got their SEC approval.
Right.
The Securities and Exchange Commission has finally approved them to allow like regular people to start putting money into
Originally,
crowdfunding
you had to
projects.
be an
and-
accredited
yes.
investor, which meant you had to
Yes.
have like made $1 million or
Yeah, it
Or you
was,
get a notary to
you
sign
needed-
off.
yeah.
You needed $1
of
million
course.
in the bank or an income of over $200,000 to become an accredited investor previously. So now they've gotten approval to just let anybody invest.
Yeah.
And like become a stakeholder in these projects and then like potentially like reap a financial windfall if it does well. Looks like Wasteland 3 is going to be the first project that allows this this option, which seems crazy because it feels like Wasteland 2 just came out. They went like, what,
Yeah,
I
that's true.
guess, yeah.
30 years without making a Wasteland game, and now they're making
I did
two in the
not
space of
hear
like 3
if
years.
Wasteland 2 was any good or not.
I
think
think like a
people
lot of
liked
people,
it.
a lot of
People
people,
liked it.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
they
yeah,
liked
a
it.
lot of people. It was received pretty well, okay. So I don't think there's any
I
concern.
never had a huge like love of original
I was
Wasteland.
never
like,
aware of it.
Yeah,
like,
it just
it seems like a lot of overlap with Fallout.
right. Yeah, different time.
Well, yeah, but I mean in terms of like, there was one post-apocalyptic like
Sure.
PC RPG,
And
that
that's
people,
Auto Duel. Let's talk about it. Car Wars. Armored beer refrigerator. It only takes up one space on your car sheet. But then you have an armored beer refrigerator.
Exactly.
Fig founder and chief executive Justin Bailey referred to this move as transformative to the publishing of interactive entertainment.
We'll see.
Head of Thing likes Thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of all I've got. I mean, yeah, that's all there is to say. Like, you could, let's see.
Wait, Justin Bailey?
Oh, you know
That's
what?
his name?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
He used to run
Yeah.
biz dev for Double Fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good name if you're going to be in the video game industry.
Yeah, it's not bad. Actually, I'm sorry. I had
He
missed.
rented Metro, and he's like, well, fuck. Damn it. It's the end already?
This game's so short.
Yeah.
I missed this part. Yeah, you do have to back at $1,000 minimum to become a shareholder.
No problem.
I did not.
Yeah.
notice that part.
Yeah.
Sure. Starting at $1,000 per share, you can now start.
Just, if you are investing in a game with hope of getting money out of it at the end, please do your homework.
Yes.
Don't just walk into it and go like, these guys seem like that's a game I want to play. Let's throw some money into it.
I loved that franchise 20 years ago. Let's do it.
Actually, how I invest in the stock market is it's like I've eaten a lot of Arby's. I'll invest in Arby's. Oh, Wendy's is the same company? Cool. I guess I got stock in Wendy's and Arby's. Like, I don't do any research on stocks. And it's actually
All right,
worked out.
now the number of times you've brought up companies in the Yum Brands family makes a lot of sense.
They're not Yum
You
Brands.
Fucking
They're not Yum Brands. I have
Wendy's
no
was
stock.
Yum Brands. I thought Wendy's was. Oh,
No,
no,
Yum Brands
you're
is
right.
Taco
You're right.
Bell,
Yum Brands,
Pizza
Taco
Hut,
Bell, and KFC. You're right.
I have
I'm
no
wrong.
stock in
You're
them
right, I'm
whatsoever.
wrong.
I am just a customer and a advocate.
Yum Brands.
No, I have stock in Wendy's and Arby's.
What is the
And
name of that company? It's something
it's
Associates, right?
I don't know. The stock thing is just like WEN, I think.
Oh,
But like all of my stock purchases have been like, yeah, Wendy's is cool. Oh, Delta Airlines, like, yeah, I've flown them before. It was zero. Actually, Delta and American Airlines.
Really?
Those have been two of my biggest stocks.
To a limited
Really?
extent, there's
Huh.
something to that because there are blue chip
Right.
stocks where
Well-
like there are certain companies that are just going to perform reliably, but they're not going to be huge returners.
Well, and also I did this in 2008 when the market crashed, and then I just realized like, hey, I don't know anything about stocks, but if I was going to throw a bunch of money into bullshit, it's probably right now. And I just picked a bunch of companies I heard of and liked, and it's like, oh, that worked out great.
that happened to be.
No. I got
That happened to be an
Ford,
opportune time for
nothing
that.
in Bush. Is Bush publicly traded? Yeah.
Bush?
Anheuser-Busch got.
I mean, they're part of
Yeah.
InBev. Like,
yeah,
they're part of a massive
Yeah,
multinational
they got sucked up
conglomerate.
by
like
the Germans at some point.
Yeah, like
Okay.
that stuff. Everything is the same company at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
Disney's trying to buy Netflix.
But yes, that is a way you can invest
Disney's
in
going to buy
things.
Twitter.
Yes. Everything is going to be Disney and InBev in the very near
Sure.
future. Let's see. I guess that's all we've got to say about Fig. Let's talk about Destiny. One ultra exciting topic to another.
Okay, all right.
I thought we did.
Yeah, well, no. I mean, this is actually interesting.
Congratulations to everyone
and
that's been
meaningful.
crowdfunding Destiny
Yeah,
2
right.
development for the past 3 years. It's going to pay off big.
So this was starting to come out, like as we took a break on last week's podcast, some of this stuff was starting to get posted to message boards.
Right.
Like literally a guy saying, my buddy was on an airplane and looked over somebody's shoulder at a presentation on their laptop.
Mm-hmm.
But Kotaku has now corroborated a lot of this information with their own sources. It's about Destiny 2. Primarily, Destiny 2 is supposed
Which it sounds like that is how it is being referred to.
Yes, it sounds like it is going to be a completely new game from the ground up. First of all, it is coming to PC.
Rad. Okay.
Which
I'm
is
in.
great. That's a good thing.
Interested.
But they finally started getting into some real kind of scuttlebutt. And again, none of this is absolutely confirmed, but they have had a pretty good track record with the stuff of like what's going on behind the scenes in terms of who's making it and how and to what ends. They're saying that Luke Smith is now the director of Destiny 2.
Mm-hmm.
And Mark Noseworthy, if you remember, like they are the two guys that we had on our E3 show to talk about The Taken King. They were respectively the director and executive producer of The Taken King, and now they are supposedly filling those roles.
It seems like that maybe they just rolled off of Taken King right on to, or right back onto, I guess, because they probably already would have been doing some stuff.
Sure, but this story makes it sound a little bit like the situation with Destiny 1, where like they had a game going and it was going in a certain direction, and then a bunch of old timers left the company, and these guys took over and are changing the direction of some of this stuff. In terms of they rebooted the story.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but they've always considered the Destiny franchise to be like a long-running thing.
Yeah,
so
no, absolutely.
like there's no
it was inevitable
indication on the time line there.
Yeah,
like if
that's
they had
true.
plans for Destiny 2 and then those plans changed. Like,
I mean, those plans
who
changed
knows?
as soon as like it got pushed into next year.
Yeah.
Like if not sooner. So yeah, I mean, like the original plans per the leaked contracts that said what these 10 years were going to look like. They're so far off of that now that I'm sure that they've had to renegotiate and redo so much stuff with Activision now.
Sure. So like the gist of all this stuff they're reporting sounds like you're probably not going to get what you want in terms of characters porting straight over and like old content being available.
Yep.
But the way they're describing it, like if they have to let all that stuff go to get to where they say they're going, like that sounds like it's worth it.
Like maybe
the stuff sounds way better.
It does sound like that they are righting the ship, but in a way that tosses the MMO-like continuity that you thought you might have gotten out of Destiny when they launched it.
There was totally a time, like I know you felt the same way, that I loved the idea that there would only ever be one icon for Destiny on your console for 10 straight years.
Yeah.
And they would just keep adding new expansions and new cool stuff into it. But like if they're locked into this shitty old pipeline with like bad tools and stuff.
Don't worry. There's still only going to be one icon for Destiny on my console at a given time.
Totally fair, because it sounds like, once they move on to this new game, you will just delete the old one and never play it again.
Yeah.
I'm going to read this little bit here because it's pretty illustrative of what they are actually doing with this. Bungie's leadership wants Destiny 2 to feel like a proper sequel, even if that means leaving old planets, characters, and activities behind. In conversations, people connected to Bungie have made comparisons to Blizzard's Diablo 2, which iterated on the first game in some incredible ways, but didn't carry over characters or content from Diablo. I don't know exactly how much will change in Destiny 2, but all signs point to the developers starting from scratch. Destiny 2 is a completely different game, said one person familiar with development. The Taken King was a reboot for Destiny 1 to fix small things. This is the overhaul to fix big things. One of the terms we'll be hearing often with Destiny 2, according to sources, is, quote, play-in destinations, a new activity model that will revamp how Destiny's world functions. The plan, from what I've heard, is for Destiny 2's planet areas to feel more populated with towns, outposts, and quests that are more interesting than the patrol missions you can get in Destiny. So, like, that last bit there about, like, bigger worlds with, like, actual, like, characters around to go talk to and pick up quests from, like...
As opposed to just, like, go in, do thing, warp out to cash in, or, like, cash in, warp out to get new stuff, like that process.
Like, I can't imagine how much time has a committed Destiny player wasted just, like, watching the ship fly in and out of places.
And some amount of that is because they made that game for 360 and PS3.
Right.
Just the logistics of, like, what can we load into memory on this thing? And what can we get, how big can this world be based on this limitation?
So if they are, like, really just ripping this Band-Aid off and, like, building stuff largely from scratch for new consoles and PC, like, it sounds like they know, hopefully, what this thing needs to be.
Good.
Like, that it can't just be more Destiny.
That's true. It definitely can't. The loss of character stuff, I think, is like that's the risky step because you are at that point giving people. It gives people an extra opportunity to get out.
Yeah, you're right.
Whereas if you said like, "Hey, here's the continuing adventures of your Destiny character," like even me, who doesn't really give that much of a fuck about Destiny lore, like there's still some feeling of like, "Oh, we did stuff." Like I did things with that character. I know how to play that character.
I know what you mean. There is a line in here. It says Bungie will likely offer something to players who have poured hundreds of hours into the first game. Last I heard, Bungie has not yet finalized these decisions.
I think people that are that invested and spent hundreds of hours.
Iron Gallarhorns.
Man, I got I finished the Gallarhorn quest, and regular Gallarhorn totally looks better than that pre-order Gallarhorn. So I did not infuse it.
The sparrow looks cool though.
It's a pretty good sparrow.
Yeah.
They've shown a pretty profound commitment recently to like rewarding people who did a bunch of shit and then lopping that off and saying, okay, if you didn't do it by now, fuck you.
Yeah,
like those like record books that they're doing now.
I understand why you do that, but on the other hand, it's like it sort of sucks that you can't go back and do those things.
I kind of agree with you, but at the same time, like that at least shows that because like there's a thing in the new expansion where it was like I think the day the new expansion came out was the cutoff date for doing any of the like feats of strength or whatever from year 2,
and that's the release of the Taken King was the cutoff for the year 1 feats.
So
those just weren't in game because they didn't put in the book stuff yet.
So like hopefully that indicates like if they're willing to do that to existing players of the like live game,
right?
Like you could see them giving some pretty substantial stuff to people like, okay, if you were with us the whole way through the first game, like here's a bunch of cool stuff. Like here are weapons you can't get any other way. Something
quickly
like
going to be outdated.
Maybe I don't know. I mean, it could be long running quest stuff that you work toward. Like I feel confident they will, based on the way they've been handling that feats of strength stuff or the record books, that they will give something to people who were there.
I just want to know one thing: Arabic or Roman numeral?
I don't know.
Yeah.
What if there is? Do you think there'd be a numeral at all?
If it's called Destiny 2.
Well, that's just how they're referring to it
that's
here.
how it's being referred to.
That's good shorthand, but I don't know.
Like internally, it's
TOO.
I was just gonna say that. God damn.
There you go.
I think they need to put. I think they need to put a 2 on the name to that thing to indicate that hey, this is not just another expansion for Destiny.
Yeah, you're probably right.
To players who are not like clued into that, like they'd want to be able to market this in a way that says like, hey, this is a different thing.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Because they're going to try to attract new players.
Yeah.
It's all 1.0. 1.0.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It all sounds promising though. I am.
You think they should call next year's game Destiny 1.0?
Yep.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's
all
harsh.
been beta.
All right.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
harsh.
Sure.
It's rough. I'm excited about that stuff. It sounds promising. Sounds like the direction they need to go in. Apparently, the direction Battleborn is going in is free to play. Sometime in the next couple months.
Depends on who you ask.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I mean, Randy Pitchford is already out there on Twitter denying that it's the case.
It's like he was out there on Twitter saying, yes, but not the way you think.
Yeah, we'll have a trial version. that players can play for
the
free.
players can upgrade to full retail. So maybe it's like less a like nickel and dime microtransaction stuff, which the game already has, like a currency system in place for some upgrade stuff.
Yep.
So maybe it's less about like characters, yes, no, and maybe more about like there's a demo that's going to have no unlockable characters, and then if you want to buy the ability to unlock characters, you pay the fee to upgrade to full, which to me is still a form of free to play from what he said.
Yeah. Also, what is full at this point? Like the price has been so low for so long at this point.
Yeah,
like it's been on sales and all kinds of stuff.
Like it almost looks, maybe it looks like that Paladins thing of like, hey, here's a $15 Founders Pack, or maybe it looks like Super Mario Run where it's free, but that's a demo, and you're gonna
free to start.
It's like shareware, like a shareware model type thing or something. Who knows?
I'm okay with that.
I mean, I think if they want to try to attract players to that thing, free is the only price that makes any sense at all.
Here's the crazy part. So this is another story out of Kotaku, also citing sources close to this project. But according to this, Gearbox wanted Battleborn to be free to play from the beginning.
Okay.
And 2K was the one that pushed it to be a full retail product.
Those guys.
That's what their report here says.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
I think if you look at what 2K did with Evolve or within the developers as well, like pivoting that into free to play on PC, brought more players to Evolve. Did those players monetize and are their numbers still growing? I don't think their numbers are still going up. I'm pretty sure that the Evolve numbers are like they spiked up big when people are like, hey, play it for free, but then it's just been down. In a way that doesn't make it seem like that is going to save Evolve or turn it into some huge profit center. But maybe it's a thing where like, hey, we've got every bit of money we're ever going to get on Evolve. The only way to get any more is to make this change. I suspect Battleborn will end up in the exact same position if it hasn't already.
Yeah.
Especially if they're knocking it down to $20 and all this other stuff here and there for sales. The thing, it's
they got to do something with it. Otherwise, it's just kind of sitting there.
Yeah. That was a game where like, they were like, hey, the statement was like, oh, it reviewed really well. And it's like, yeah, that's partially because like I hated it so much that I didn't want to play it enough to write a review. I don't know if there's a score for that, but
did not finish.
Yeah.
Also, we didn't get access to it until like the day it came out.
DNF, straight up. Duke Nukem Forever. We give it the coveted Duke Nukem Forever rating.
I mean,
maybe we should establish that. Maybe maybe that's the 0 on our scale.
Just didn't care enough to finish.
Yeah, whatever. That game.
I don't know.
That game
very,
looked
very little
extremely expensive, and boy, was it a mess.
The UI was a total fucking mess.
Just like,
that
here's this
eyesore. But
congratulations, here's this fucking gigantic man with a turret, and by the way, it takes up a full third of the screen, and then also here's a bunch of UI shit that is indecipherable.
And everyone's screaming jokes all the time.
Yeah. Good luck.
There's some things about the aesthetics as far as like the art style that I really kind of liked. And there were times like during the tutorial where I was like, man, this could actually be a good single player campaign kind of game. But
to me, it just never shook that feeling of like, this is something that maybe got created for a Borderlands thing and then got like, okay, spin it out as its own thing. It's not fitting here.
I just think they
put it over here. Like, it just that whole thing just seems like such a mess.
I mean, they struck gold with combining 2 genres with Borderlands, and I bet they just got confident about like, hey, let's do it with 2 other genres here.
Yeah,
let's bring Dota stuff into first-person shooter. And
maybe. I don't know. But like people have done that before, just like Hellgate London had been the Diablo first-person shooter thing
so
before.
Much potential.
Yeah, it really did. It really did.
It did. Yeah, I missed that game.
Apparently, also as part of this stuff leaking out, Gearbox supposedly going to put out a remastered version of Bulletstorm.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was
that also just leaked out today.
They gave there was a ratings board last week.
Okay.
That was talking about this stuff.
Okay. So Kotaku's source is confirming to them.
Yeah.
That Gearbox is in fact.
So that was
doing
there was like an entry for Bulletstorm remastered on a USB stick that was given out at E3 by Microsoft.
Oh,
it
that's
said
right.
Bulletstorm remaster. It was like an empty folder on there. You're like,
yeah.
So People Can Fly spun out from Epic,
right,
and retained the rights to Bulletstorm.
Okay.
So I guess the theory here would be that Gearbox is going to do publishing for this full clip edition for modern consoles and PC.
Cool.
Which putting it back on PC seems weird, but I guess it was games for Windows Live games, so it's kind of it's one of those weird limbo.
Yeah,
I think you can still play it. I'm pretty sure we reinstalled it after.
Right. Yeah,
after Gearbox for Windows Live.
Somebody played it on like a UPF or something here a few months ago, right?
Yeah.
It's a fun game.
It's an Unreal Engine game. I don't know, I don't know what you do to remaster that for a PC version of the game, like what you're actually doing at that point.
Unless you redo graphics and stuff.
Right, let's wait and see.
Yeah, that's supposedly also happening.
That game was fun, and I did not think I would want a sequel to that game until I finished it. When like I would totally play another Bulletstorm, but
kill with skill.
Yeah, I think so.
Is that their tagline?
Yeah,
isn't that their thing?
Yeah.
Take the whip and bounce them up, shoot them. Yeah,
sure.
Some neat ideas.
Get those points. Yeah, that thing was neat. Let's see. That's kind of it for news, other than Nidhogg 2 got announced.
Yeah,
that looks cool.
Even
though a lot of people seem to not think it looked so cool.
I thought the trailer looked okay.
Yeah, I'm tentatively into that look.
Weird.
I don't think you don't just make another Nidhogg and make it look the same. Like
right?
Really?
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, Nidhogg is awesome.
I think they did that, like I think, like you want to go a different direction. Like maybe people are not happy with that direction.
This is a pretty extreme direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like all of a sudden, it's gone from that like
blobby
really,
Homer Simpson looking
it's
weird.
Clay fighter looking thing.
Yeah. From
it's really weird.
Palette. Oh man.
It looks like,
I think Brad put it best, and he said like this should be like a super Nidhogg.
Yeah, because it looks like a SNES game.
It just seems like something that like fell out of some European developer for like the SNES or something around that era. It's just like this weird look.
Yeah, just like new weapons and stuff. And
it's got like throwing axes and bow and arrow and.
But like a higher fidelity version of the original Nidhogg character, I think loses its charm.
Totally does.
So I think you got to do something different.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's pretty extreme though.
Very.
AI. So it says single player against a series of AI opponents with
Karateka,
with occasional special challenge rounds.
I was just reading about that game.
I don't know if
about Karateka.
That was
they had like subliminal messages in that cart.
Which version? Oh,
like I want to say like a 7800 version or something like that. Like that was something that Atari was toying with, like putting subliminal messages in game. And I think that one said like, "Mommy and I are one," and it was supposed to increase like. And anyway, I need to read up on that. But I came across an article on that last night.
Huh.
Anyway, I need to look that up.
Creepy.
Again. Yeah.
Anyway, Nidhogg 2 sounds cool. Sounds like it's got a little bit more of a single player campaign. It's got online multiplayer, more weapons. Like,
cool.
What's not to like?
It's out next year, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's a ways off. All right. Let's read some emails. What do you say? And then we'll get out of here and go do some other stuff. Bombcast@giantbomb.com is the email address. This first email comes in from Castro in the Philippines. Wow. Very simple question. A challenge to the crew. Can you make Dan cry?
Huh.
I don't know. I could try.
Like if we just said, and John Wick 2 is available now. Like, would that listen?
What would do it?
Like that wouldn't no.
I'm not ashamed to cry.
Ric Flair is dead.
I've never seen it.
I would probably cry if Ric Flair died and they aired a tribute thing. Yeah. I've certainly cried at tribute wrestler death videos before.
I think I have seen you a little misty-eyed. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely have.
Huh.
Yeah.
but not actually.
Even like retirement
sobbing.
speeches and stuff, like Edge and Danny Bryan and stuff. I'll get a little teary eyed.
all right.
Not like
Wrestling
sobbing.
Is wrestling? Well, here's the bigger question: is wrestling the only thing capable of making you tear up?
I mean, a movie's never made me cry or tear up. A game's never made me cry. Does it count if it's a really sad charity montage that airs on wrestling about a kid that loves wrestling? Because that Conor the Crusher thing, that got me.
I think that's still wrestling.
Okay, that did get me. That is wrestling adjacent. Fuck. I mean, like real deal life stuff, people die and stuff. And
All right.
you cry during that.
Okay.
I'm not a robot.
All right. Okay, that's fair.
But as far as on a challenge here, I
Yes.
don't know what you could do.
I don't
If
know.
money's involved or something, he would hold back those
We'd
tears.
kill Ric Flair.
He's-
I guess
Don't
we
kill
could.
Ric Flair.
Don't.
Also, you can't.
Ric Flair
People
was,
have tried.
That's a good point.
Ric
Yeah.
Flair
Jack
was in the
Daniels
news
has tried.
yesterday.
Jim Beam has
I
tried.
saw that Ric Flair was in the news yesterday.
That's why that came to mind.
Oh.
I saw him trending on Twitter, and I was like, God, did Ric Flair die?
Hang on. Well, what happened?
I
Yeah, you
don't,
do-
I'm
let-
not
let
gonna, I
me-
don't want to say.
I'll just give because there was an update today.
Okay.
Oh, I
Ric
missed
Flair on
that.
his podcast claimed that
I did see this.
that he had
Podcast?
sex with Halle Berry right after she divorced David Justice. Halle Berry came out today saying,
boy.
I don't know through her rep or whatever, saying, Halle does not even know who Ric Flair is, much less has she ever had sex with Ric Flair.
Wow. That's amazing.
Ric Flair proudly said on his podcast or a I interview or something that like, I had sex, Space Mountain, 1997.
That is the
Aw,
best
poor
way that
guy.
that story could have concluded.
Yep,
Oldest ride, longest line.
that's true.
Woo. Indeed. Okay. Alex from the Netherlands writes in with a little question. Next month on November 16th, Miyamoto will turn 64 years old. What is Giant Bomb's game design for a Super Miyamoto 64 game?
Man, that would be happy.
Do you have to play as him?
I don't know. I think it's fully open to interpretation.
That'd be like some gardening and guitar playing
Okay.
going on, I
Yeah.
think.
puppy petting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Riding some trains.
The bosses would be bad games that you would force to be delayed or canceled.
Okay.
You would knock a bunch of shit over when you decided to cancel and or delay those games.
Wait. What?
You would overturn the tea table.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do the,
Is he known to?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, not literally. It's
Okay.
just the conceptual.
I can't imagine him
They'll
ever
probably
being.
they'll probably also literally, if you really want to.
I can't
No
imagine
one wants to think about it that way.
can't
but
imagine
if
that
you, but if you
man
really,
I've seen him in so many costumes.
being
and, like,
cross
props.
about anything.
Wasn't he furious after the E3 presentation of Skyward Sword when everything
one
was
where
not
everything
working?
broke?
Yeah,
Yeah.
where like the bug thing, the beetle,
Right.
didn't work. I thought I heard that he was just fucking furious backstage.
No, I
Can't
don't want to
even
believe
imagine.
that.
I know. I can't picture
I mean,
that.
that's a legitimate reason to be mad. Like
I'm
you're
not
on
saying he
stage in
shouldn't
front of a
be.
huge crowd, and
He just like, I don't know. He just channels fun in everything
Yeah.
he does.
He warms my heart.
me too.
I
mean,
want him
he-
to dress up in different costumes of
he's
all the games
he's
that
one
he's
of the
designed.
lines of defense that like has saw to it that some games get delayed
Yeah.
greatly or canceled for not
See?
being good. Like, that's you hear about stories about him visiting Retro or other studios around there and how they were like,
Oh wow.
Shit.
he's
Huh.
coming, he might just kill the game. Like stuff like
He's
that.
a businessman.
Yeah.
So the question is whether he's a dick about it or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, anybody can get angry.
I have not
I don't-
heard one way or the other.
I don't think I want to know.
Either do I.
That man made Donkey Kong.
He did.
Mario and Zelda.
He's made some stuff. He could probably get away with whatever he wants.
For a second there, I thought you were talking about some like fucking Game Boy RPG. Mario,
Mario and
and Zelda.
Zelda's.
Like,
Yeah.
wait, what? Hang on.
Ryan writes in from Wellington, New Zealand. Last week, Jeff discussed maybe buying a Vive for himself. Before he does, though, do you expect that Valve will make a Vive 2 or some update to the current Vive hardware next year? We're 6 months into the Vive and Oculus Rift, and the latter went through multiple iterations and variants before its full consumer version. Can we expect to see a yearly update of either of these products in the same way an iPhone does, or do we expect these current iterations to be the final ones for a while?
I could see them doing iterations that make it cheaper for them to build, but don't necessarily change functionality.
Yeah, like same
like,
resolution.
Yeah,
same-
like I could see them doing that annually and just inline revisions that don't really are not necessarily perceptible changes.
okay. So
But-
like your Vive Slim.
Yeah,
basically.
right.
Vive
Because there was
S.
this stuff I was talking about that where like, oh, it seems like that they've found a way to combine some of the tracking sensors into a smaller, cheaper to source and build
just
part,
like parts get cheaper and stuff like that.
so that
I think I would be
see
okay
them
with
making
that.
changes like that.
Yeah. The Vive is a really good product.
That's something that we asked Palmer Luckey when we had him on interviewing. You know, like, hey, what's the cycle on this stuff? And, you know, he would not announce when they were going to ship Oculus Rift 2.
Right.
But yeah, that's a great question. I think that this corner of the industry is still so nascent that I don't think they could get away with annual meaningful upgrades, because I think that would burn everybody who bought one.
Yep.
I think 2 years is the absolute soonest you could get away with it, but even that seems like a stretch. It would have to be it'd have to be the sort of change where you're like, hey, you know, you were an early adopter on this stuff, and that's why you got one at all. So of course this one's going to be like a fucking giant leap forward and, you know, do all this different stuff.
So you're selling it to the existing audience as much as to a new one.
Right. Yeah.
I think I would be okay with the Vive being the Vive for a while, like that thing.
Yeah, and then, you know, at some
good.
point, like, well, what happens to software compatibility? Do you have to build the next Vive in such a way that every existing Vive game automatically works? Or do you ask developers to go back and add Vive 2 support?
Right.
Sure.
Because you've got a higher resolution screen and you've got a different method of tracking that is not compatible, you know, not directly compatible, but better. Or, you know, there's a lot of stuff around that, especially when you look at the stuff on Steam where it's just like fucking Wild West single developers making crazy shit. Like, are they going to support their game 3 years from now when there's another Vive or, you know, or whatever?
Where will Handybot be in 3 years?
Yeah, where will we all be in 3 years? Working for Handybot.
Yes.
That's how it's going to go. Those are great questions that we don't have the answers to. So, yeah.
You're probably safe to get one, though, I would think.
We'll see.
If you're dying to have one, like, you're probably going to be okay.
That's the other thing, is I'm not dying to have one.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
I wish I had one because it would be easier to goof around with more of that stuff if I had one at home.
Yeah. But there's just like nothing.
But I might just buy the cables and bring our Vive home when I want to mess around with that
can
stuff.
you buy
That's not a
parts?
bad idea.
Can you buy like Breakout or
Oh,
what?
what about,
I
like,
could
the
buy the
sensors and
lighthouse.
stuff?
Yeah, I could buy. I could
sure.
probably. I think you can buy replacement lighthouses.
Sure.
I would hope so. Because those fuckers tip over.
Yeah.
Not that it's ever happened to us.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, there's just nothing like super essential.
Right.
Nothing, even something as amazing as Rec Room,
Man, Tilt Brush though
isn't going to last you
that
forever.
stuff's all.
Damn.
It's all
God
really
damn.
cool.
It is very cool.
And I wish I could spend more time with it and get really good at some of those things and really
like, all the things that I'm interested in are not necessarily game stuff. Like all the like productivity tools. Like that's
And I wish I could play more of those multiplayer games while they're hot before they've been replaced by something else.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, I wish I had one at home for those reasons. But I'm not like burning up like, oh, I gotta get one. Like I'm
kind of burning.
Getting a better PC is like its own reward for me at this point.
Yeah.
The thought of like, oh, and maybe I'll get a Vive down the line once I get a faster thing, just sounds like a nice potential bonus at some point if I want to spend that money. I don't know. Sure.
Question from Patrick. Sin Episodes is $10 on Steam. I like bad shooters from the early 2000s. I also like having $10. Should I buy this game?
You probably would like the $10 more than you would like Sin Episodes.
$10 seems kind of high for Sin Episodes at this point.
It really does.
Like, how is that not?
Isn't it only one episode?
Yeah.
Also, they never.
Episode 2 never materialized.
Man,
or it has not materialized yet. I should say.
Somehow, I don't think I'm going to hold my breath.
It's going to just keep.
Considering that Ritual got acquired and turned into like a mobile developer or something.
Yeah.
Did I miss the bus on Shadow Warrior?
What do you mean? How
Like,
so?
it seems
What's
like
out
a
there?
pretty cool fucking game.
It's not bad.
Yeah,
the first
like
one?
it seems pretty
I mean,
ridiculous and like super fun to play.
The reboot?
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's okay.
They've got a sequel announced.
Yes.
And that looks fucking awesome.
So I
Like
haven't
this
seen that
4-player
game, but did you see that they
co-op.
commissioned Stan Bush to do a theme song for that thing?
Wow. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know. We'll wait and see how it works in context.
I'm really interested in what Shadow Warrior 2 has to offer.
Yeah. First game was cool.
Yeah.
It was better than I expected for
I
sure.
booted it up and watched the initial cutscene and I'm like, this could be ridiculous.
Yeah, when you think about what Shadow Warrior was originally, the
Right.
idea of making a sequel to that was like,
why?
It always
almost, you just look at it and go, that's a really bad idea.
Yeah.
Shadow Warrior was always up there with like Blood for me as just like, well, that's an also ran that they made on the build engine because Duke was successful.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You know, it was just like not a tentpole.
But then it was just like, you don't mess with Lo Wang.
Also,
You're just
there was
like,
that.
Come on.
Yes.
Like, stop.
Yes.
Stop with
I
this.
never played it, but you know,
It was like the original Shadow Warrior was all right. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was an okay game.
not as good as the original Sin.
No, certainly fucking not. Like, let's not be ridiculous here. Sin is.
The hell of a game.
I backed Sin when everyone else backed Half-Life.
Yes.
And
look where you are today.
I still feel justified insofar as the Sin multiplayer was better than the Half-Life multiplayer.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I was
Out of the box.
I was incredibly impressed with Half-Life in all the appropriate ways, but
Yeah.
but there was something about Sin. A dumb
That
game.
outdoor level that was part of the demo. It was just like you on the scaffolding with this fucking giant rocket launcher just fucking people up. Like, yeah. Sin's a cool game.
I mean, the biggest bummer about Sin episodes is there's like no chatter. There's no
Right. All the stuff you wanted from fucking
all the John Blade,
Ken and
like
JC, like all that. There's none of that.
all
shit.
the shit talking to your nerdy assistant, like just the '90s cheesy action movie one-liner shit.
Yeah.
Totally
Sin
missing
episodes
from
is
Sin
just like
episodes.
the fucking disappointment of the decade.
Yeah, that was
That's maybe a bit extreme, but
that was a real shame.
That was a real shame.
I was very excited for that thing. Brian from Texas wrote in with a screed about fighting game character balance. If you guys want to hear it.
Okay. All right.
Drew was asking last week how that stuff gets balanced.
Yes.
He's got some
Am
insight.
I going to regret asking this?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
It's just some pretty detailed information here.
All right.
I heard your discussion on character balance in Street Fighter, and I thought I might weigh in. I've been working in balance design for the past year and a half. Character balance comes from a number of different axes besides just strong and weak. The other two pseudoscientific axes we look at are complexity, how difficult a character is to play, and similarity, how much like other characters we've already made a character is. Design usually looks at complexity and similarity before they try and balance the power of a character, as power balance is usually just tweaked by changing numbers. Complexity tends to be the first balance metric because a character can be incredibly powerful but will be underutilized if they are too difficult to play. In the same vein, if a character is too similar or too dissimilar to other characters, they won't get played as well. On top of this, design has to balance at a number of different levels. The end goal is that characters with low complexity are powerful in the hands of new players, whereas characters with high complexity are more powerful in the hands of more experienced players. Balancing so that players of all skill levels feel like they are playing the same game as high-tier players is ideal. To Jeff's point of someone sitting down and saying that Scorpion should be more powerful than everyone else, usually it's quite the opposite. Scorpion should be the easiest to play since players new to the game will recognize him and want to play as him first. This allows new players to get the feeling of doing cool shit faster than if they had played a more complex character. At the end of the day, though, design doesn't really care about win rates as much as they do about play rates. If a character is played more often, then it doesn't matter as much whether or not that character is the strongest.
I was making a joke specifically about Scorpion and the creator of Scorpion, but yes, but also yes.
Good point.
I totally get that. Yeah,
that's a really succinct explanation.
Yeah. It's extremely well laid out. How that stuff would be looked at.
Speaking of Scorpion, they put out Mortal Kombat XL on PC today.
Yeah, I want to check that out.
Which they ran that beta out of nowhere after it seemed like they were done with that version of the game.
I thought they came out and said they were done updating the
when
PC
XL
version.
came out, they said that it was not.
People got pissed off, and they're like, no. Okay. You got to come back.
They did say that, right? Don't I remember them saying like, hey, the new netcode is not coming to the PC?
It was specifically that the XL stuff, which the new netcode would have been part of that, was not gonna come to this version of the game, or that Mortal Kombat XL is only available for PS4 and Xbox One.
Right.
And then I think they eventually said, that means it's not planned for PC.
Right.
Yeah.
So all the netcode improvements, that's available via free patch, I guess. So you don't need to buy this XL version, which seems pretty cool.
That's a good thing.
If you want all the characters like Leatherface and the alien, I know you don't. I think it's awesome. It's fucking awesome. Oh god.
You know who's cooler than those two characters?
Scorpion.
Sub-fucking-Zero.
Yeah.
Sub-fucking-Zero.
Lou motherfucking Kang.
Whatever.
Those
So
are my
Sub's
heroes.
whatever.
What the fuck is an alien doing there?
Question here: Sub-Zero, cooler than Scorpion? I say yes.
Are you literally asking me if
not a pun, not a pun. No.
I was always on Sub-Zero.
The burning
Okay, all right.
skull man.
A cool, not temperature-wise. I think Sub-Zero is a cooler character to play. It's cooler looking, cooler backstory.
Yes.
Yeah.
Than Scorpion.
I always went Sub-Zero.
Yeah, me too.
I'm with you.
Scorpion's cool. I like Scorpion a lot.
That spear?
I think from a gameplay perspective, I might prefer Scorpion. But from a from everything else, I think Sub-Zero, just design-wise, is more interesting.
How about fatality in the first game?
Yeah. I mean, the Scorpion fatality
they're
was
both
kind
good.
of.
I mean, it's good, it's memorable, but the Sub-Zero one was like, oh, shit.
Look at
all
it this way: the Scorpion fatality was tame enough to go into the SNES version intact.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas the rest of them were too fucking badass.
I think the Sub-Zero fatality was the one that like the parents groups went ape shit about. Like
the fact you can
pulling
see
a
the
guy's
fucking
head off,
spine.
and there's a spine hanging down.
Ugh,
Yeah,
he's the best.
Yes, I'm with you. I'll back Sub-Zero for sure.
Although
Lin
that
Kuei all
one,
day.
that one
That's
is
my faction.
technically
That's my faction.
that one's technically Noob Saibot though. The one we're talking about from the first game.
Right.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you've lost me.
Mortal Kombat 3 with the Scar. That is the Sub-Zero we know today.
That guy's okay too.
Wait,
Yeah,
really?
yeah. The Sub-Zero from the first game is Noob Saibot.
Hang on.
Or Noob Smoke or whatever.
Because in Mortal Kombat 2, that was Sub-Zero's brother.
In 2, it's his brother. In 3,
3, the young Sub-Zero with the Scar.
the unmasked Sub-Zero.
Yes.
Is the brother? He's the 2?
He's the MK2 Sub-Zero and not the MK1 Sub-Zero.
Unmasked.
Because
The MK1
MK2
Sub-Zero
Sub-Zero became Noob Saibot?
No. One thing I know for sure is that the Mortal Kombat 1 Sub-Zero is Noob Saibot. I think the masked one from 2, the only one from 2, is also Noob Saibot. I think he dies at some point, or no, he becomes Noob Saibot, or maybe he went to the Nether Realm and then he became Noob Saibot, and then the third one, or no, the one from 3, the unmasked one, I think that might be his son.
Wait, I thought that was just
Or his
the
brother.
guy
Maybe
from
it's
2.
his brother?
I thought the unmasked guy from 2 was just the Sub-Zero from...
That's the unmasked guy from 3.
Unmasked guy from 3 was
The
just
red
the guy
thing.
from 2.
I don't think so.
I thought that was
Which
the
2
case.
is the brother.
Right.
MK2 is not the same Sub-Zero as Mortal Kombat 1 Sub-Zero.
because
Okay, then
then
the Mortal Kombat 2 is the one that took his mask off and became the one
because
from
then
3.
Ultimate patched masked Sub-Zero in.
Yeah, but that's just...
And
the
that's
Ultimate doesn't
original.
count. Everyone's...
Isn't that the original Sub-Zero? Or is he
that
dead
would be
at
the
that
idea. Yeah.
He died and
Classic
became
Sub-Zero.
Noob Saibot.
Which they didn't necessarily reveal that tidbit until years later.
There was some ending or
past
something.
3,
Sounds like some...
so it's them.
But the guy who ripped the spine out, that's Noob Saibot.
Except now it's Noob Smoke because they
Yeah.
rebooted their fiction, and
Right.
now it's a whole different thing too.
Also, John Tobias is nowhere to be seen.
Right.
So,
Also that.
yeah.
You want to get that out of there
Yes.
while you can.
Get your Cybot. Get the Cybot out. They sold T-shirts and everything.
Okay. just need Sub-Zero to produce his birth certificate to be sure about all of this. Email from John. I am a 911 dispatcher in South Dakota, and your recent conversation about things almost hitting cars made me think of a recent call I took in which a person dropped a gallon of chocolate milk from an overpass onto a semi's windshield.
That's a dumb thing to do. I could totally have done that as a youth. That's my level of fucking awful thing to do.
Let me read on. The best part was when we asked the driver if he was okay, he responded with yes, but there is milk and glass everywhere. They ended up catching the guy. Maybe don't buy your milk the same day you plan to throw it off an overpass in a town of 1,000 people.
Yeah, that also is a good deterrent for
That's pretty funny.
walking into a store and buying 6 dozen eggs.
Yeah.
Or all the toilet paper you could find.
Yes. Life lessons.
20 boxes of Rice Krispies.
Yes.
I do that.
What's the Rice
pretty
Krispie
often.
prank?
You put it on their lawn.
What does that do?
It gets
Just
wet.
melt?
It gets wet
Or
and
just
crumbles
gross,
and cracks and gets
sticky?
very super disgusting.
And you just find that stuff everywhere?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Gross.
That is waste. Oh, that's
Yeah,
those
yeah.
Rice Krispies are
I mean, it really, though, if you're fucking with people's lawns, just go buy Roundup and just like spray your name into their lawn.
Jesus.
Does that
And-
kill grass?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's rough.
Why is it called Roundup?
Ask Monsanto. I don't know.
Mark from Raleigh. I'm guessing the one in North Carolina. The more teraflops and 4Ks Microsoft promises for Scorpio, the more I wonder how much this thing will actually end up costing at retail. What do you guys think? The PS4 Pro is $399 with no 4K Blu-ray drive and doesn't do native 4K. If Scorpio is supposed to do all of this and more, is there any way it can retail for less than $599? I'm assuming they won't sell it at a loss.
I want to say that there was a quote from Phil Spencer out there saying that he didn't think the console would be too expensive, and then kind of said like $600 would be maybe a little much, or about where it would go, or something like that.
I guess I'm expecting 5. but
Yeah, maybe
they
5.
They got to get back in the game. Man.
I think, when we're talking about something that's not going to hit for another year,
Yeah.
so there'll be some differences then, but I don't know.
I bet, $499 minimum, I bet. from the sound of what you're saying.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen those quotes, but
I didn't necessarily like dig into those quotes or anything like that, but it seemed like it was people trying to infer from a statement he made that it meant that this price would be that and all this other stuff, which I don't know how far along they are in their process with that stuff.
Yeah.
But,
not cheap though. I think it's safe to say.
yeah, I don't know.
Email from Dante. Pizza vending machines have been showing up around where I live, Orlando, Florida.
Really?
I have not had a chance to visit one of these machines to try their robot pizza, as they're not close to where my home is, but they did mention that in a few months they want to have at least 100 more vending machines throughout Orlando. My question is, would you eat a hot robot pizza out of a vending machine?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Why the fuck
Yeah.
wouldn't you? Of course.
What other types of food would you like to get out of a vending machine?
them,
How
most.
long until drones bring us pizza to our homes?
Oh,
Not
definitely
long.
not too long. I want to know more about this robot pizza from the
Yeah.
vending machine. Like, are these like frozen ones that
Yeah,
they just heat
the
up?
link-
They
or if it-
there are vending machines that are basically like microwaves also.
Yeah, the
so
link-
it'll dispense into a microwave chamber, heat it up, and then dispense.
That's
The pizza,
kinda cool.
the pizza he sent a link to very much looked frozen.
Yeah.
Like they've
Really?
heated up frozen pizza
All
out
right,
of
so
this
it's
machine.
not like they've got a vendor coming by like stocking it full of pizza every day.
No, but I feel like I saw on Twitter somebody posted a link to like a prototype, like actual pizza construction robot.
that is what I want.
Like they could make a fresh
I want
pizza.
a little fucking. I want that window open. I want to
Yeah.
see a robot with a little chef hat,
Yeah.
picking out my fucking pepperoni,
Yeah.
pineapple, because that's delicious on
Yeah.
pizza. And I want to see him like put it in an oven.
Yeah, and it's just like he's
and bake
putting it on
that
the stick,
shit.
and he's like, "Hey,
And
forget about it.
And he dances around as the pizza's cooking.
Just overcooked on the
It's a
screen.
me,
Yeah.
pizza robot."
Mm-hmm.
Some kind of robot restaurant.
Oh, I see.
Ah,
Okay, that makes
yes.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be into that.
Fucking robots are
Yes.
going to take all jobs by the end of it.
Yeah, totally.
No one will
yeah.
be able to
No,
work
that's
anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, it's someone. I don't remember if we circled back on this or not. We probably did, but like we had a lot of people send in pictures of their touchscreen McDonald's around the country. Like I think
Nice.
there may even
Yeah.
be one pretty close to here.
I think I think I've seen it actually.
Yeah. So
Good idea.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I would go there.
Good and also terrifying.
Yeah.
Will writes in from Davis. He says, "Hi, be Reezy," which
okay.
I think I'm okay with.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay.
Way better than B-Rad anyway.
I love B-Rad.
Eh,
Come on.
I don't know.
Oh man, just B-Rad.
Just to preface this, the cops told me that the participants of this story lived and will be okay after a hospital stay.
Of course
Oh,
they
boy.
did.
So,
Okay.
so sending this is hopefully only mildly fucked. But given the events, I couldn't not write in. I'll keep this snappy because you're busy guys. I was up in one of California's shittier counties in the top right last week and saw Knife versus Bat for real.
Okay.
Apparently, Mr. Knife sold a car to Mr. Bat without removing some of the items inside. He came to Mr. Bat's house to reclaim these items, but Mr. Bat felt that because they were in the car when it was sold, they were now his. So a fight ensued. This was not a great area. It went down as Jeff predicted. Mr. Bat got in a good swing with a wooden bat, but it didn't take long. I'm sorry. Misread that. Got in a good swing with a wooden bat, but didn't take Mr. Knife down. Once Mr. Knife got within knife range, that bat was useless, and the fight was basically Mr. Knife freely deciding how much he wanted to fuck up Mr. Bat. Fortunately, on that day, he seemed more focused on getting his stuff from the car. So, there you go.
You swing the bat at the fucking knife hand.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
You got to take the knife.
No, you go for the head, right?
No, well,
Well,
if you're trying to
either
kill
way-
them, but
Either you knocked the knife out of his hand or you just put him down with one swing, but I think you only get one swing.
Huh. Because that's what I keep. I keep a bat under my bed in case there's like
Yeah.
an intrusion or something.
Yeah.
And in my head, the way it would always go down is you just go out there and you just swing hard as fuck at the temple. And
Unless they have a
Like
gun.
that's a huge mistake.
Yeah.
why? If someone
Because the idea that you're going to be able to hit someone in the temple,
or just the head
like
in
any
general.
kind of targeted attack,
Just
like
the general
that,
noggin
the
area.
percentage of it is just a noggin area is like as soon as you see someone swinging a fucking bat at you, you duck because you can't swing a bat fast enough to fucking actually hit them. You're going to graze off the top of their head, if anything, which will hurt, but they're going to fucking fuck
But
you
if you
up.
concuss them at all, then they're going to be all loopy, and then you can just beat the fuck out of them.
They're
That's
going to be
that's a big
adrenaline
if.
up and coming at you.
I mean, a headshot will take somebody down. But,
if
but
you
you're
get
lucky
them
enough to-
clean, yeah. But like any
that's a
kind
big
of
if.
graze, like that's way too risky. Like asking to hit the head because it's dark. You're fucking just waking up, freak.
Yeah.
Like you don't have your fucking faculties about you. They're coming in fucking adrenaline up, ready to fucking go. They're gonna duck your fucking bat swing.
So should I keep a knife under my bed?
You should saw your bat off so it is shorter.
Okay.
And tape it up a little bit, and then treat it more like a billy club kind of situation.
What if I get one of those sting bats that are sharp?
Whoa, what?
Yeah.
Maybe.
What?
Yeah, no.
The hell is that?
Okay, I would
Cut a
recommend.
bat in half.
I might recommend a T-ball bat because they're shorter and they're metal and they're very light. They're very easy to swing one-handed.
Yeah.
And just fucking that'll give you a free hand to hopefully maybe catch a knife and get less fucked up.
I don't want to catch a knife. That's going to cut my hand. That's going to hurt.
I mean,
super
catch
bad.
the arm.
I'm not trained for this.
You're not trained for any of it. That's why the right thing to do is call the fucking cops.
Well, yeah.
And do what the guy says.
Of course.
Don't
yes.
fucking threaten him with a bat and
I
get
live in a
fucked
small
up.
apartment, though. Like, by the time I get a hold of the cops and the cops get there, that guy's fucking me up.
Yeah. Yeah. But also, that guy is probably taking your stuff and leaving and not fucking you up.
Ideally.
If
Okay.
he's there to fuck you up, he's there to fuck you up. And you know,
Okay.
maybe you deserve it. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
But,
What if you could take go into a car, like an old car, and take the airbag out of it, and then keep that next to your bed. So when he came at you, you could just like poof him
Yeah.
away.
Huh.
I often thought like a springboard, like, right outside of my bed. Like I've just hit a button and this huge spring would like.
I mean, if you
pop
want to
up
get
that
into like
panel.
spy versus spy traps,
Yeah.
then yeah, there's a ton of weird stuff you could do.
Could you throw salt in someone's eyes? Would that work? Or
Not-
should you should just
no,
get
you
mace at that point, right?
You should
Yeah.
just spit green
Mace
stuff
is
into their
supposed to be
eye.
super effective.
it's fucked up.
Tim Curry has been maced and says
Yeah.
it's some of the worst
It
pain he's
sucks.
ever had in his life. That's part of police training. He wasn't like doing something
Mace
bad.
is not legal anymore, right?
Pepper
it's-
spray.
Pepper
What's
spray.
what's the difference?
They're different.
Mace is way more effective
what's the
and
difference?
way more fucked up.
Because I was reading
pepper
the other day
spray
that-
is like not as effective,
Pepper spray
but
is
still unpleasant.
Pepper spray is still legal, but mace is not.
Huh.
So I don't know why mace is worse or how much worse it is.
They both
but-
go for the eyes, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
respiratory. Like it's a bad place to be.
Pepper spray is like quite literally like hot pepper
Yeah.
extract,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Dan, you
Is
could
mace-
probably take pepper spray.
Is mace
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
mace
We
more
should
of
try
that,
that.
or is it like chemicals?
I think it's chemical.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
What do riot police use?
They might still
Pepper
use
spray.
May.
I don't think so.
Do they not? Can they not?
I'm
use
pretty
May?
sure.
Bullets.
Dan, we should pepper
Tasers.
spray you.
Jason, do you still have that video of Tim Curry getting tased and pepper sprayed? I think the video is just of him getting tased, and it's super
No,
funny.
I don't know that.
Oh, it's
I do.
hilarious.
Okay.
Oh, I think Hanson had it.
Okay.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, he was training to be a cop, Tim Curry, and
I've
he got
heard-
maced
I've
and
heard
pepper
about it.
sprayed, and oh god, the
I've got-
video of him getting tased is my favorite thing.
I've got the official line straight from pepperspraystore.com.
Okay.
Oh, of course. If
you want it.
you're home for.
Dog and bear pepper sprays are legal in all 48 contiguous states.
Oh,
and
I have
can-
some bear pepper
can,
spray.
Can, oh, is it different? Is it stronger?
I don't. It's.
It might just
it's got
say
a picture
bear.
of a bear on it. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's also for dogs.
What you got
I
against
guess.
bears? Jeez.
In most states, pepper spray is legal against bears, but using mace and tear gas is not legal.
Okay.
I was.
But if somebody's intruding on your house, like it's legal to fucking kill a dude if he's coming into your house. Like I'm sure
Yeah, but
mace would be fine.
but you legally own you and
That
use
depends
that gun.
on the
that.
scenario.
Also,
I mean, if
also-
somebody breaks into
like,
my
s-
apartment,
setting
and comes
aside
in,
all the fucking castle doctrine bullshit that you're
Castle
trying to
doctrine?
get into
Yeah.
here.
what is castle doctrine?
No, just
like that.
It's a
That
video
is that
game.
is state by state.
Oh, it is?
Like the idea that you can shoot someone just for being on your
Not
property.
even shoot, just
but
like
again,
kill, like with a bat. or
again,
something.
putting that aside.
kill. Like
The
no,
whole
that is
point-
that is totally.
Fucking stop talking about whether you can kill a man or not. I don't want to talk about it. But the point is, you are like legally purchasing and owning that firearm. That's the
okay.
difference. If they say mace is not legal to own, then that doesn't mean you can just use it in self-defense.
If you were,
You could get tried for owning mace, but not for killing a dude or spraying it in someone's eyes.
Oh no!
if you were,
Let's move on.
if you were to use a,
There's a Simpsons episode where they explain that. Wiggum explains to Homer that if you invite someone, no, it doesn't work if you invite them because the joke is Flanders like, hey, come over here, I'm going to kill you. I thought that was a nationwide law.
no.
It is absolutely not.
Wow. Okay.
In some states, it is like this person's on my property. I'm going to shoot them. Period. End of fucking story.
Right.
Like justified because they were on my property. Like it's.
I thought they'd
it's
be break into your house.
It's a bit much in my estimation. But like also, if someone broke into your house and you shot them, let's say you shot them,
and they were there to steal.
they were
stuff from
like
you.
yes, in self defense, you discharged your firearm into a person and did not kill them. If you were to then walk over and John Wick your gun into that person's head, you are a fucking murderer.
Right. If they're not a threat anymore.
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. It's if you've disabled someone or whatever, you get the fuck out of the house and call the cops and stuff.
Yeah.
If it's not necessary for self defense. Yeah.
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 Or if they killed your dog, then you're just
Well,
Right.
yeah.
Then the laws change.
You get the sledgehammer out and go to the garage.
Right,
That,
exactly.
yeah.
That's a whole different thing. That's a whole different thing.
Sometimes all bets are off.
I was near a guy that got pepper sprayed, and even that started my eyes to water.
We
up. So
accidentally pepper sprayed a room once, and it was
just like hanging in the air.
Yeah, for hours afterwards.
lingers.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Like
I was
pain?
outside
Yes.
too.
Yeah, like standing outside. Oh yeah. We were in a closed radio studio, and had to continue to do a radio show from outside the studio, yelling in at the microphones for a few hours.
What?
Because a friend of mine who eventually did become a cop. They were not a fan of his graffiti arrest, as I understand. But anyway, before he was a cop, he was buying some cop stuff and had pepper spray. And
You got to practice, yeah.
and then sprayed it in this. It's dumb. It was, and also hyper fucking unpleasant.
Does not sound fun.
To be near pepper spray. Getting it sprayed directly into your face sounds like fucking terrible.
But you just wash it out. It's fine.
You just
afterwards.
It doesn't cause lasting damage.
Right.
I
just really want a pepper spray Dan.
Yeah.
Nah, I would not agree to do that.
Yeah.
$5?
Absolutely not. 500.
Any amount of money?
No.
500 maybe.
Getting it sprayed onto you seems like the sort of thing that you would have to be methed up to resist.
Yeah, sure.
That's the guy in Under Siege 2, the train one.
Mm-hmm.
He gets pepper sprayed, and he says something like, "Hey, this happens enough times to you, just clears the sinuses."
Yeah, probably.
Right.
Yeah.
That's probably true on some weird
So
level.
he probably did a bunch of bad stuff to get pepper sprayed that many times.
Maybe you just pepper spray yourself to build up the resistance,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh,
Just a little shot every day?
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah. Just work your way up.
Taper,
It's like
yeah.
poison resistance, right?
yeah.
You start with ghost peppers, and then...
Okay.
That's my new gaming YouTube channel. Is pepper spray somebody and now review a video game. What do you think?
Gotta turn it up a bit. Is it spraying the entire time you're reviewing, or is it just spray and go?
It's just spray and go.
Okay.
And
That's the name
tell
of
me
the
about,
channel.
Yeah, spray
and go games.
Tell me about PlayStation VR Go.
Come up with an API where you can wire it into the game so that every time you fuck up or die,
Right.
you get a shot.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Don't miss that jump. You're gonna regret it. Ivan has a question. Why did Dan used to dread going to the bathroom at home? He mentioned a while back that he used to always try to go to the bathroom to... I'm sorry.
You're not going to like that you asked me this question.
Let me try that again. He mentioned
I already don't like this.
He mentioned a while back that he used to always try to go to the bathroom at bathrooms not at home.
God damn it.
This question has come back to me periodically. Why?
Screen these.
Was it because you didn't want to clean it? And you were just like...
I go
whatever.
through a lot of toilet paper.
Okay.
And the idea of clogging a toilet is dreadful to me. I flush
Let me
4 times every time. Oh, Jason actually knows a little bit about this.
Let me back up. So
Should-
when
should we
Dan
just let Jason
wipes his
answer?
ass, like
Drew's closing his
he-
eyes.
he wraps it up like a mummy. Like
No, I don't.
seriously.
That's not true at all. You're completely wrong about that.
No, that
no,
I'm
no,
not.
no, no,
That
no,
is
no, no.
exactly
I'm
how
sorry,
you
you're
Jason,
right.
I know how I wipe
wipe
my own ass. You're completely wrong about
You're
this.
right. I'm
I
sorry.
never
That
wrap.
is-
People
that's
have told me to
bullshit.
wrap it. People have told me to wrap it.
That's
I
bullshit.
clump.
It is the
I make a
exact
big
opposite. You told me that you wrap it up
Jason,
like
shut
a
the
fucking
fuck up.
mummy.
Listen,
And
no,
Ryder and I
don't.
told you
No,
to actually
no.
fucking take
Go
it
back,
out.
check the tape.
and you
Check
fold
the
it
tape
up.
on that.
I will check the fucking tape. It's
Jason,
not
you're
recorded
close,
anywhere.
but you're not there.
This is bullshit. You were fucking lying. I'm sick of your...
Jason, okay, here's what Jason is remembering wrong. I go through a lot. Like every time I go in the bathroom, I take a fucking ton of toilet paper for every wipe, but I clump it. I just take one big ass, like softball sized clump of toilet paper and I go to town.
I think we're good.
Somebody told me to mummy it. I've never once wrapped toilet paper around my fucking hand.
We did not tell you to mummy it.
So you maybe not. People have told me that. I clump it up. I go through a lot of toilet paper. So when I'm at Walmart or Target, I can just fucking use as much toilet paper as I want, and usually they're a little more industrial with the flushes. They get everything down. So I can really just fucking go to town and not worry about wasting money on toilet paper or clogging toilets.
That's true.
That is why. But I bought a bidet at home now, so it's a little better. But still, I'd rather shit in a Walmart any day of the week.
I can't fault you for that.
You should buy an industrial toilet for your house.
Yeah.
When I buy a house, I will do that. Yeah.
That's the dream. I've thought about that.
I am so happy when I'm in a public place and I flush, and it's just that forceful, just whoosh, like you could tell it could just take down a watermelon.
We used to dare kids to stick their arm down the toilet and then flush it at school.
That's a really good idea.
And the rushing water, like it was almost like a frostbite. It was fucking like the rushing, freezing
like
cold
super
water
cold?
was super fucking cold.
Like there's
on
not
their
shit
hands.
in the
No.
water.
It's just I mean,
fine.
I mean,
Okay.
it's certainly not as clean as it could fucking be. 'cause
but it's
still a
not
fucking toilet.
active, stuff.
Yeah.
There. Okay.
Like, I wonder how much pressure. Like, would it actually like suck them in a little bit?
A little bit.
Awesome.
We would also have races. I mean, I assume everyone did this, where you just like get like all the toilet paper and run it into the toilet, and then run it all the way across the bathroom, and then everyone flushes at the same time, and you see who wins.
Oh shit!
Everyone in my school was lame. We didn't do any of this stuff.
Yeah, what are you doing?
That sounds really fun.
We should try that.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Are you folder now though?
No, actually, there are signs here. They say don't put anything. Don't put anything else down the toilet.
Oh, that's true.
I
sign says it right there.
The signs
on the wall
went up.
Yep.
Signs are there for a reason.
Yeah. Well,
timing was dubious.
Shit happens.
Jason,
something happens.
At home, I do more folding because I have to pay for that, and I have to clean it up for clogs.
Okay, good.
Walmarts and Targets and stuff, I clump.
You know what? Get some nice like baby wipes or something like that helps clean out stuff. Seriously.
You guys have to talk about this on your own time.
A day.
Oh, okay.
Let's move on.
A day works out. All right.
Let's do a couple.
Are baby wipes flushable?
Yeah,
they don't seem like they would.
They make flushable baby wipes. Clearly labeled.
I need new toilets. I have one toilet that's just not of an effective. It's prone to clogging.
Gotcha.
Also, clogged toilet, as someone who has one that's prone to clogging, and even if you're not putting anything in there, sometimes it'll get weird. Not so bad.
It's a nightmare. I don't know if I talked about the poop towel.
We're not going to. Okay. Nope.
No.
Noah from Richmond.
Hi.
I don't consider myself to be very macho by any means, but I was at a bar last weekend that sold 40s of Colt 45, tall boys of Old English, and had an arcade punching bag alongside that arm wrestling arcade machine, Arm Champs 2. Needless to say, it was a great night. Do you all look upon feats of strength games with any particular fondness?
I think they're cool.
I like the punching bag ones for sure.
I'm bad at all of them, but I think they're a cool idea.
I've never seen the. Is the punching bag like scored? Does it have?
So it's the thing that hangs up, and then it's just got like a speed bag type thing that hangs down, and you get drunk and you punch the thing, and it tells you like Rocky IV, like a PSI rating or
how
something.
Hard you hit it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and I think it's I like the purity of it. It's like just drunk idiots like, I bet I can punch harder than you. And no one gets hurt.
Yeah,
you put in your little quarters and you punch the thing,
sure.
and then it's like you got your bragging rights. I suck at it.
I would always kick the bag.
Like roundhouse it? That thing's pretty high.
Sure.
Wow.
I can kick on a.
Okay.
That was always fun.
But I never wanted.
I mean, didn't have good numbers, but it was still kind of fun. Also, sometimes I would just do a running clothesline at the bag.
Oh,
sweet.
Yeah, that does seem kind of fun.
You gotta have some drinks before any of this works.
Yeah. But arm wrestling a robot does not seem like a fun. Like those kind of scary.
Yeah, I'm looking up Arm Champs 2 because I don't know if I've seen that one before.
I have
seen like an arm wrestling. No, I haven't seen this one. Like the only one I've ever seen seemed like it was broken. Like go figure the thing that you have to fucking
Yeah.
Have you guys ever tried that one?
No.
Or okay.
I'm afraid to. Like I think it would break my arm if it wanted to.
I don't think I've ever won arm wrestling.
Really?
I've done it many, many times. It's something about the leverage, or I mean, obviously I'm not a strong guy either, but even with people I should super beat, like my dad, like I'm in peak physical condition compared to my father, and he can beat me. And I just don't know if I'm doing something
technique
wrong.
to it that you're missing out on.
Yeah, I don't know where
We
I'm supposed to
He's got to like lift a lot of boxes of baseball cards and stuff.
Yeah.
Like he's out, he's still probably working his arms more.
Yeah, those Sports Illustrated swimsuit issues, you get enough of those in a box.
Yeah,
and
seriously,
it's heavy, yeah.
All right.
And we watched Over the Top not too terribly long ago.
That is true.
A year or two ago. You should have the.
You'd probably need the hat.
Yeah, it's just
It's like a
around
switch. It's like a switch.
Okay, that is it.
Should do a scrub league for arm wrestling in here.
I would like that.
Establish a pecking order.
Yeah, let's do it.
Drew's not allowed to participate.
My UPF segment.
Because I think he would just win.
He's got good form.
I suspect you're right.
Corey from Long Island. Wrong Island.
Wrong Island.
I didn't mean it. People from Long Island, please don't hurt me. Today's my birthday, so I figured now would be the best time to ask a question for the Bombcast. You were right.
Also, happy birthday.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Specifically Jeff, but anyone with knowledge of the subject works. Every time Ja Rule sings, it sounds like he's sobbing. Why is he so sad? Who hurt Ja Rule?
The IRS.
Okay. That's a good reason to cry, I guess. There's your answer. Got a long-winded email from Eric about exactly how to get the noodle bowl to trigger in Street Fighter V. I don't know if you guys care enough. It's pretty in-depth.
Let's take that offline. I'll read that separately.
All right, I'll let you see that later.
That info's on the internet, I'm
Sounds
sure.
like there is a way to do it, but it's not easy.
Okay.
Last email comes from AR from Austin. I was listening to a Bombcast from last year while feeling nostalgic about Splatoon when I heard Brad mention never having learned to whistle after a choir of armpit and hand farts from the other guys.
Right.
Out of curiosity, did Brad ever learn to whistle? I was completely unable to whistle myself until I was about 25, and somebody on Reddit taught me in a single sentence, whisper the letter Q. No, I still can't whistle.
Huh.
I can totally...
Oh, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
I totally understand the mechanics of it. I can get close, but I don't know. All right, yeah, thanks.
Try it.
I think
Try. All right, hold on.
Q?
Don't say it. Whisper it.
Close. I don't know. I got nothing.
my favorite character in Star Trek is Q.
Okay.
Well,
all right.
that totally works.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah, but you already knew how to do it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just transitioning.
Yeah. It's kind of...
Some people, even
It's a good starting point, though.
among people who can whistle, though, some people are way better than others.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
I can never do the finger
I can't
whistle
do that.
thing.
Yeah.
That's so loud, and I
Yeah.
wish I could do that.
I can't do it.
Matt Rory's a great whistler.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a nice warble.
Yeah, like
Nice
some people...
vibrato.
I don't know how to
Yeah.
armpit fart.
Some people-
that's the best.
either. It's...
It gets harder once you get some hair under there, but you can still do it.
Somebody got that. Some people have like that great pitch when they're whistling. They can whistle songs and stuff. You know. Like
Also, I
just-
feel like it is a constant in the universe. Whenever anyone mentions not knowing how to whistle, whistling will then happen
just
around you.
everybody does it.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you, I can whistle.
I know. I know you can all whistle.
Okay.
Just yell that on a bus.
Yeah.
Try that. Yep.
It's fun.
Whistle bomb a bus. All right. Bombcast@giantbomb.com. Those were the emails for the week. Thank you to everyone who wrote in.
And thanks for reading them, Brad.
Yeah, thank you.
nice of you.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
And commenting. Thanks for talking into those microphones.
Sure.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for the podcast. We've got some stuff popping off early.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's right.
Tomorrow.
We've got a live stream with some hot new video games tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. Pacific time. You should come back and check it out.
5 a.m. Pacific time.
I'll be here.
What are we getting here? Like 4?
I'm getting here about 4.
Oh boy.
It's going to be like
I'm gonna shoot for 4.
It's going to be like a 6 a.m. flight. It's going to be like getting up
I'm
for a
gonna
6
have
a.m.
to.
flight.
I'm gonna have to wake up. I'm gonna have to be out the door at 3.
Right.
I think I'm
Right.
gonna have to
So-
Uber. I don't even think the
Oh,
trains
yeah,
will be
there's
running.
no buses or anything
Awesome.
at that hour. I think they start at 6.
So I'm gonna, I think, get up from this table and go home and go to sleep.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
So we can do that stream tomorrow.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. We should talk because
Yeah, we gotta
we
set up
we need
setup.
to. Yeah, there's some
We gotta
setup that has
set
to
up
happen, but also
headsets. I mean, stuff.
we need to get a quick look out of that Modern Warfare remastered at some
Mhm.
point too.
That would be good.
But also, I should sleep.
Yeah.
Are you really going to be able to go to sleep at 3 o'clock in the afternoon?
No, because I won't be home until 4.
Well, you know
anyway,
what I mean,
So,
though.
no, definitely not.
Are you really
but
going to lay in a bed in the middle of the afternoon and just get a night's sleep?
Oh, that sounds fucking great.
Yeah.
I don't think I
It's called
could.
a nap.
Yeah,
great.
but all night?
I'm a bad napper.
Like, you could
I'm
do
not
the
a-
same
I've gotten
Yeah.
better as I've gotten older.
Because
and it's
if you
great.
if you only got like 2 or 3 hour nap in, that just screws your sleep up
Yep.
even
Right.
further.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's gonna get screwed up no matter
then
what.
then you're just up until like midnight or something, and then you only have another 3 hours to sleep.
If
Yeah.
I think about it in terms of how long it normally takes me to get ready in the morning, I should probably be waking up at 2, which is
Jesus.
bad.
Yeah, that's rough.
Jeff, I recommend taking a shower before you go to sleep.
Yeah.
That like always lulls me right
Yeah?
to
Yeah,
bed.
yeah.
Yeah,
That kind of wakes me up.
Yeah.
I would probably do that, but then still take one in the morning.
sure.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
definitely.
need to shower in the morning to live.
I when we first started talking about doing this, I very much considered sleeping here tonight
Oh, wow.
because they have showers in this building.
Yeah, that's true.
Where would you sleep?
I don't know.
There's
studio
aren't-
couch.
There aren't a lot. Oh, the video couch. Yeah.
I wonder how many people have slept on that couch.
Rory has a
Definitely
lot.
Rory.
On our UPF set
Yeah.
couch. I slept on that once.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Vinny might have slept on
Oh
it
yeah,
at some
I've crashed on that as well.
Okay.
Yeah, after like an extra life thing.
point. Couch is well broken
Oh
in.
yeah.
I guess that would have worked.
There's also a hotel right next door.
That's true.
That's money.
Mm.
There is that. I don't know that I could sleep in that studio, not because of that couch, but something about being in that studio would be like,
I would want you to turn on a live stream first.
that's the thing. It's just like
Yeah.
you would be like waiting for the lights to come on and realize that you're live on the internet.
No, that's what I
That's
want.
how
I
we
want.
should-
I
we should
want you to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. That's no.
Wait till the last second to flip on the lights.
That's a bad
And we're
idea.
live.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, 5 a.m. Pacific tomorrow. We'll be streaming for some number of hours.
Yeah, come check this shit out and see
Till
how it
we're
is. Let's find out
Yep.
together.
Yep. Let's experience the magic.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Well, we're going to get the hell out of here and go set up for all that stuff and try to go to bed. Things of that nature. So thanks for listening. We will be back here same time next week for another edition of the Giant Bombcast.